What happens when you're a hot girl and some dude who you maybe hung out with one time takes a photo with you and says he fucked you? What is that? Do you think that a hot woman has had the experience that guys that she was nice enough to be friends with said that they fucked her?
Yes.
Okay? How many hot women had the experience where they thought they had a friendship with a guy and then later he professes his love to her and gets bitter that she likes somebody else?
All of them.
How many of y'all have done that in this room?
Okay? So anybody, yeah. How about a guy who, yeah, bro, how many guys that have run a business, they thought that they were working with their best friend, didn't like do every last angle paranoid on the paperwork, and then that same person later flips around and attacks them. How many times that happen? So human beings with RAS flips, what happens is anything that's of value or a threat, we will flip and we'll believe it when we're doing it. We'll do the selfish thing and believe that we're justified when we do it. This is why anybody who knows a lot about dating knows that, there could be a cute little couple there, and there's no difference to go say hi to that couple as a group of two girls. You guys know that, right? Marinate on that a minute. What is easier to meet and be successful? A couple or two girls?
I think it depends on the relationship, right?
Yeah, the top 5% to 1% of relationships would be harder.
Yeah. Well, yeah, in general, it would be the relationship.
All that you have to do is have a better voice, better sub-communication, be funnier, be more confident, have a stronger frame. It doesn't matter that they're standing there together holding hands. That hand will be thrown away like 2 seconds. Like that, done. Okay? So understand, and then when that happens, it's like, well, he was treating me bad, and he's a jerk, and did it, and then their brain makes up a story. Their brain constructs a story to do what they want to do. Okay? If you have a business partner, and then they perceive that they can make more money without you, even if you help them to build it, you'll know that their brain is beginning to see a better path without you because they start getting mad about random stuff. They're like, that email went out 5 minutes late. You're like, you were broke 2 years ago. You're a multimillionaire now. Yeah, but that email, that's not an excuse. You're like, I sat there helping you. I just helped you fix your fucking car. Yeah, but the fucking email, and then it's like a countdown clock until they wind up being like, look, I'm out of here, and I'm taking all the stuff that you helped build, but it's your fault. Right? I'm taking all the shit, but I'm mad at you. When you guys see a woman attacking her husband in a divorce in court, and she's taking half his stuff and more, using his money to attack him in court, you ever heard the expression, the woman you marry is not the woman you divorce? Okay, does she look like, we had a lot of great years together, it didn't work out, so, we do have to have a divorce, but I still love him, he is the dad of my kids. What do they look like towards this important person in their life by the time it's done? Scowling at him, mad at him, hating him, because they have to justify taking his shit. They have to justify taking his stuff. So anybody who's high profile, whether it's the good genetics of someone who's attractive, it's a bunch of money, it's a bunch of fame, anything with fame, money, or sex, people get funny around the money. So if you're a beautiful woman, can you make friends easily?
No.
It's almost impossible. Because all the guys get fucking weird. Okay? If you're a famous person, can you make friends easily? No, because what'll happen is you'll be out with that friend who's not famous, and then you'll see them pull their camera out, and they're like that, and you're like, can we not do that?
The problem is they might do that 5 hours later too. They're normal for 5 hours, and then 5 hours later, the weirdness comes out. And it's like you immediately feel like you want to RAS flip them.
So you guys see what you're up against here? So if that's, I'm saying this to you, not just a therapy session like how it might sound. I'm trying to show you that when you're meeting somebody like this, every single person, whether social media, hot women, attractive guys, famous people, has all been experiencing this nonstop. Why don't they usually talk about it? What does it make me look like when I vent about this? It kind of looks like you're complaining, right? So what happens is they'll never say anything about it, and they won't complain about it because they've learned, that's just kind of how it is. People just get weird around it. That's how it is. I've got to make my little bubble. That's what happens, okay? So they're not going to say it. So you're not going to hear it. I'm telling you this here so that you understand the psychology of who you're engaging with, okay? Now, many of my high-profile friends, just by knowing them have helped me to make millions of extra dollars. Many of my high-profile friends, they're just like, oh yeah, this girl would be cool for you to date, Owen. I'll send her over so you guys can have a date. You see what I'm saying? Right? When I met CJ, one of my exes, I just mentioned her sometimes because it's like public. Many of my exes, it's not public. Michael Sartain and Luke were like, hey, CJ, I think you'd get along with Owen. CJ came to my house. I said, I've got a bunch of chores to do. She drove me around. She always clowns me about this. She drove me around to do chores. And then shortly after, we started dating. Right? So if you know the right person who knows a lot of people, they just send it over. Like, if you know me and I trust you because I have a huge social circle of really cool girls, remember this. I don't just have a social circle of like hot women that do OnlyFans or things like that, right? That's just part of it. I also have a social circle of women that are really high level intellectually and so on and so forth. Okay, so I'm out in Los Angeles right now, and I've decided that I'm gonna be doing a summer tour of events. Do you guys think they should go to the summer tour? 100%. Do you guys think that they should go to the summer tour? You should 100% go. So look, let's take a little walk. Let's talk. Let me take a little walk. Okay, listen.
All because of him.
Okay, so the summer tour, I'm gonna be doing probably my last major touring for the free events. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hit up Minnesota, New York, Boston, DC. But honestly, this is probably the last free event tour that I'm gonna be doing over a summer. And then next year, I'm gonna be staying home in LA a lot. I've got a lot of reason to be back here. So if you'd like to come out to an event where I'm gonna show you how to make cash, I'm gonna get you public speaking, I'm gonna do trauma healing on you, I'm gonna teach you all sorts of social skills. We're gonna do a field trip at the end of the day. I'm gonna change your life, build a mastermind group for you. Everything's gonna be different after the free event. Look, you've been to a free event, right? How would you describe it?
Life-changing. That's why I'm here, like in LA.
Get yourself out to a free event. Click the link below right now. As soon as you do, what winds up happening is we start sending you all sorts of really cool free videos that are hidden, videos that you can't get. We get you inside of a mastermind group. We get you meeting the other people that are coming. We start engaging with you as soon as you sign up. So click the link below. There's even virtual ones. If those cities aren't for you, I'd recommend that you fly in or do a virtual one. The free event tour is gonna be amazing. Again, Minnesota, a bunch of cities. Click the link below now, and we'll see you at the free event tour. Looking forward to meeting you in person. I know all sorts of different girls. All sorts. Any kind of girl that you want to meet, I know. If I trusted you and I believed you that you'd be a good fit and not a weirdo, and you knew me, I'd play matchmaker for you. I play matchmaker for my friends all the time. Anytime my friends, look, I'll say to the girls that my guy friends are dating, be nice. Be nice. Because he will have a new girl like that. If you're mean to him, and I'll go, I'm just kidding. I'm just joking. Then they see my social circle, they know to be nice. But I'm really nice to them too. I'm super nice to them too. So I'm not like mean about it, okay? But what I'm saying is, if you know me and I trust you, like, it's done. Look, the other day, me and Sid were out. I just met a girl that was his type. And I said, you're going home with my friend. They're off to the races together, okay? Immediately, okay? Just met a girl his type. I'm like, you're going home with my friend. You guys are going home. I didn't even know her. She was like, what do you mean I'm going with your friend? I'm like, no, you got to meet him. I'm like, look, I pull up like all this stuff on like Google and stuff about Sid. I like showing Sid doing all this. I'm like, look, he does this. He's going to love you. It's going to be awesome. She's like, this is crazy. Like, what do you mean? I'm like, you guys are going home together. Like, you have to go home together. Then I bumped into her like months later in Vegas, and I did the same thing. They went home twice together. So, yeah, funny coincidence. So the point being is that if you know the right people, like, you never have to get a job. If you're my friend, you never have to apply for a job. If I trust you, I would just give you a recommendation, right? If you're my friend and I trust you, I'll put you on a podcast with me. If you're my friend and I trust you, I'll introduce you to your freaking wife. I mean, get a fucking prenup, but you know my point, right? So if you know,
Everyone's about to start booing.
yeah, yeah. So when you know, right? If you're my friend and I trust you, you're coming on with me to vacation in Glacier Park in Montana. So, but I'm not just the only person like that. Lots of people are like that. That's called being a grown man who makes an effort to benefit his friends around him, right? So if I like you and I trust you, we're gonna go grab dinner together, and I'm gonna show you a couple little things that are gonna change your life. I'll show you that here too, but you know my point, right? So, you know, if I like you and I trust you, I'm gonna introduce you to that business connection that you need. If I don't have that business connection, I'm gonna call a friend who does. And then they're gonna call a friend who does. We're gonna make it happen. That's why the rich get richer, the poor get poorer, okay? So as a result of that, basically what you're looking for is this. It's not that you need to have high profile friends. in order to have a fun life. Again, I just got back from South Dakota, Montana, Oregon. I don't need that to have fun. I don't pedestalize people that are high profile. But what I find is that people who don't have access to higher level people always shit talk them. They're like, I don't even care about people like that. I'm like, that's why you make 40 grand a year. Like that's why you don't even have enough money saved for retirement. So it's not that you need these people, but it's that when you have people that can help you, your life is going to change, okay? Now, from there, if that's what you're dealing with, okay? If that's the wall, it's a wall of absolute numbness. How is somebody who's higher profile characterizing you? They're characterizing you kind of like the way that Jesus characterizes the people that crucified him. Forgive them, for they do not know what they do. You're just like, you know what? They're broke. They don't have girls. They don't have a fun life. And because of that, and the reason why they don't have that is because they're unconscious and they can't control themselves. They're not in control of themselves. You wind up doing a party and you go, you know what? Let's invite him up. He probably wouldn't belong here, but let's invite him up. And of course, the guy just makes fucking problem after problem after problem. Okay? Just makes problems. You know, I've got some really nice jewelry. I was showing some people the other day. I was like a bunch of people that like.
And those problems that he's creating, that's coming from that self-sabotaging mechanism of the brain because it doesn't resonate with that reality. It wants to go back to being a chihuahua, not a wolf. It wants to devolve, basically.
Yeah,
it wants to cope. It doesn't want to thrive because what it knows unconsciously, that person knows, I have to exert so much more energy than these people. I don't know why it's so easy for them, these higher status people. Well, I don't know why it's so easy for them. So I have to exert all this energy. It's not worth it to me. The equation's not adding up to me. I might as well go down this lane instead of this one.
Did you guys follow that? Oh, I won't become his friend anyway, so I might as well use that photo that I took with him and make up a bunch of lies. And then my RAS makes me believe the lie.
That you still got to talk to that high status person to get that photo. So it served as nothing more than a metaphorical dog treat for you. That's it. It's just a dog treat. You got your little validation from your friends who clapped, maybe. If you're in Denver, they'll clap. If you're in LA, they think you bothered a celebrity. That's all it is. But they'll clap, but then nothing happens after that.
Yeah,
that's all you'll get.
Yeah, when you go to get a photo with a celebrity, that's you throwing up the white flag. So basically what you have is the wall that you're up against is that you're understanding this person can't, like I remember I had some nice jewelry on and I was like, I'll let this guy see it. You know, I'll let a couple people see it. And it's maybe like a $45,000 bracelet made of gold, right? Made of 18 karat gold. And I thought, I'll let him see it. You know, something for him to aspire to. Gave it to him. I come back, like the clasp is damaged. He's been like pulling on like he's like pulling, like he couldn't open it. So he just starts pulling it. It's like $2,000 to repair it. Right? And I didn't even tell him because he can't pay it. You know, he can't afford to pay it. I can't. You know, I can't because I want him to come back to events and I don't want him to know. So I don't even tell him. But the point is, I learned from them. I'm like, oh, there's something in the psychology of the average person that like ruin it for themselves. It's like an addiction to being at a lower level. That's what Sid is pointing at. It's an addiction to being at a lower level, right? It's like if I bring you out with a group of like really attractive women, are you going to come there and vibe and add energy to it, or is your RAS the whole time thinking, how do I take? How do I fit in? How do I take? How do I fit in?
Exactly, and you'll. As I said, when you start developing awareness, when you go into these social situations, eventually you'll come to a point where you realize that there is a splitting in the brain. I have two different personalities, when I'm quote unquote out of state and when I'm in state. And it's two different people living up in my brain. And one is gonna be addicted to more out of state type of behaviors. The other is gonna be addicted to throwing logs on the fire of being more and more in the zone and being more and more in abundance. And when you're out of state, because when you're out of state, are you thinking or are you in the moment? No, you're thinking. When you're out of state, are you thinking or are you in the moment? You guys are out of state right now. Okay, you're thinking. So when you're thinking, you're identified with those thoughts and it becomes an infinite rationalization loop to stay stuck there. So the key really is the energy has to shift to where you get in the zone, you throw logs onto the fire of being in the zone, and you get attuned to what that actually is. Why is that so important? Because when you don't have, like what he's talking about here, certain people are attractive, that's value. Certain people have money, that's value. Certain people have connections, that's value. Certain people have fame, social proof, brand, that's also value. But when you don't have any of that shit and you're starting, what is the one thing you can add to any interaction that will make people light up? Vibes, fun, positivity, and that's it.
But it's not just, it's the vibes, the fun, the positivity, but it's also this. Anything that you do that indicates that you're one of those people, you're done. So every single thing that you're doing your entire life has to be centered around, I'm not gonna do that. Okay? You twitch weird, you're out. You act nervous, you're out. You self-qualify, you're out. It's just, what do you think is more important? Being fun and giving good vibes and energy, or not being weird? It's super about not being weird. You'll see a lot of celebrities will have male friends that are like kind of retarded. And you're like, why does that guy hang out with this guy? But this but that guy who's kind of retarded will be out with a celebrity and then just kind of wander off on an adventure randomly. Like he could be at the best club and he's like, I'm going to see over here, right? And so what does that do to the celebrity when it's like this derping retard who will just wander off? It means he's not going to do the photo. He's not going to write the fake tell-all book. He's not going to talk shit. He's not going to be weird. He's not going to take anything. So I actually made an experiment. It was like around 2017 where I said, I'm going to stop focusing on the things that I do to build value. And I'm going to spend 1 year where all that I do is focus on just not being weird. And my results exploded through the roof. But that's because I did a deep dive of about a year focusing on this. It was about a year where like I looked at every last little mannerism, like top to bottom, of like what is signaling that I'm gonna be weird, and how do I just look like one of these retarded derpers? And it was incredible what it did. Like I could just be like, hey, what's up, cool, yeah, okay, we're going over here, and like people are like, yeah, let's go, because you're not triggering them that they're bored and they actually want to make friends. So you're not triggering them that you're gonna do something weird. Now the problem is there's a paradox, because when I tell you, you do this, you're out, you do that, you're out, what happens? You get paranoid and you try to micromanage it. So instead, it's about you've got to come into alignment with yourself in many different ways. We'll talk to you about those ways. Okay, so we'll give you solutions. We're not just going to scare you. Okay, we'll give you all the solutions. And it's actually a lot easier than you think. And it actually just comes down to doing things that are healthy for yourself. It's like things that are healthy for you are really the main key here, okay? But understand that if someone's had those experiences, they're not mad at you. They don't hate you. They're not shit-talking you behind your back. What they feel about you is that you're a human who probably has potential, and maybe in a couple of years you'll blossom. That's personally what I think when I see people in that mode. I'm not thinking that they're like inherently bad or that like I need to avoid them. I'm just thinking, oh, like they're not there yet. Come back in a couple of years, especially if they're learning the kind of content you learn here, they could be completely different. Does that make sense? So it's not like they're thinking bad of you. They're just thinking you're not there yet. Or if anything, it's like, oh, our timelines aren't cross-connecting. So in other words, like right now, if you're at a certain level and someone's down here, that doesn't mean that later you couldn't, meet at the impasse, right? Where it would make sense for you guys to hang out. But it just means they're not there yet. You're like, oh, okay, they're kind of stuck in like they're kind of in their era of like low self-esteem, self-qualification. They're sort of unconscious. They can't even really trust themselves. They're not even managing their own life. And what you'll start to realize is elitists are elitists for a reason. And I can't stand elitism, but I'm going to be honest. Elitists get to that point when they try to help their nephew. They try to help their old buddy from high school. They try to help all these different people, and they try and they try and they try, and not only does it not work, it's just ineffective, but those people are later mad at them. And the reason why those people are mad at them is because if you try to block someone's karma, you take on their karma, okay? If you try to stop someone who's at a low level from learning what they need to learn, you take on that karma. So if somebody's kind of fucked up, like if someone's in a value taker mode, part of their process of enlightenment is they act like a fucking dickhead to a bunch of people. They lose opportunities, they generate their own personal version of hell, then they learn from it, and ideally they come out of it. So if you then try to come in and say, cool, I'll invite you to this party, or I'll introduce you to this girl, or I'll give you this job, or I'll give you this connection, and you do that to someone who's not a resonant match for that, they will just be mad at you. They'll be mad that you did it. This is why the lottery doesn't work. The lottery just doesn't work. This is also why, by the way, socialism is a challenge, right? How come communism, great idea in theory, how come it never works? Probably a couple communists in here, we're in Denver, right? But how come it doesn't work? Because you're giving Your communists are often as populists, right? They actually want the little man to do better. I want the little man to do better too. I am the little man. Just coming from a different angle. They're trying to attack the problem from a different angle. Why I never resonated with socialism personally was, guys, what you guys don't realize is, at a certain way of looking at it, while I don't believe in government-enforced socialism or government-enforced communism, I'm the most private communist, privately on my own choice, you've ever seen. Free videos, free tours, helping other people, pulling other people up.
To the point where it's actually detrimental. Because, remember?
He's gonna let it, now it's his therapy session.
No, I'm not.
No, do it. Tell him how bad I am.
I'm not going. But from the example you gave, you lived in Big Mike's mansion.
Yeah.
Like a refugee camp.
Well, I'm paying for that, so it's our mansion.
Just talk about that.
Yeah, you can tell him.
Okay, he lived in this giant mansion, which became like a refugee camp of him just bringing people in to come stay. Eventually, what was it, 80 people staying at?
Yeah, guys, I'll live in a mega mansion. I'm paying $80K a month, and I just let everybody stay there. Okay? Because I want to help the little man. Okay? I'm saying this because I'm venting. Like, I'm venting about this in the same way that a lot of you guys would, that the whining and dining and like classical romance thing doesn't work, and that basically you just have to build massive social proof, build out like a rotation. You know that that's all that works, but you're like, why are you making me do this? Like, I just want you. Like, I just want you. I don't want to do all this. I just want you. Like, how many of you guys here would kill to just take a woman on a nice traditional date, show up with some flowers, get the door, open the door for her, go to a nice dinner, not even sexual, just across the table, genuinely get to know each other, genuinely, to see if it actually fits properly, okay? Look at all the smiles on your guys' face. You all want it, right? I want it too.
I was gonna admit it.
Yeah, I super want it, right? I'm the most classical romantic you've ever seen. So and actually get to know each other. Rather than talking about bullshit and trying to act like you're MGK, instead, you would talk about what commonalities you have to see if you could build a great family together. Wait to have sex, but in a way where you know it's eventually gonna lead to sex, not like she's using you, and then actually get to know each other over a period of time. Go talk to her parents, get to know her fucking parents, expand your family, have children together, and have it be classical. I think we all want that. But we've learned it doesn't work. So it's like, oh, that doesn't work anymore. It's not the 1950s. We want that, it doesn't work. I'm the same way. Like, I want to just go do the free tour and just give you everything. I'm not trying to make, guys, the reason that I want to do that is because I know so much about business, I can give you everything, and there's still enough for me too.
Well, unfortunately, the biggest thing is, remember I said value plus relatability? There always needs to be a bridge and a ramp that relates to that person's psychology. And unfortunately, when you cultivate a lot of value, but there's no relatability there, then it doesn't, and part of relatability is making people invest, making people see that you have social proof. Dangling a carrot in front of that person's DNA. And if you don't have that, then that person's always gonna feel like it doesn't matter what value you cultivate, they'll never see it because their RES can't see it.
Yeah, like if I just grabbed you, gave you a room in my crib, handed you 500 grand, and took you around with me and built your brand, within 2 years you'll hate me and be shit talking me on the internet. Isn't that crazy? Yeah. Like if you take a girl on a nice date and you do that, she will be calling you weird in 95% of cases. Like that guy was weird because you did the nice date. So it's that impoverished mentality that most people have that makes them not a resonant match for a better reality. So if you're somebody who is, attractive, famous, rich, entrepreneur, whatever, right? It's not that you're mad at people. Like, are you mad at girls that you can't just do it the 1950s way? Or do you just feel pity?
If you guys are red pill guys, you guys are gonna be mad.
Right? But do you just go like how many of you guys in here know that you would be the best possible match for a lot of girls and they wind up just dating some degenerate fucking loser and not you, and then you're like, wow, like you blew it, babe. Like you fucking blew it. Like what, like I would have made your life fucking amazing. I'm way smarter than that guy, I'm way cooler than that guy. But because that guy had a rotation, didn't chase, didn't want anything exclusive, didn't make future plans, didn't call before 2 a.m. most of the time, et cetera, she gravitates to him. Are you mad at her for doing that? Or are you just like, fuck, I don't know. I mean, clearly, you gotta just position people where they're ready to be positioned. Does that make sense? You position them where they're ready to be positioned.
Now, even as he's saying all this, does that even seem weird that like, why would a girl even actually want that? Who here feels a little like, why would they even actually want that? You feel a little bit about like that? The big thing with that is understand how do you respond to anything that materially that has luxury behind it. They make you invest. Rolex doesn't just give you a watch. Fancy cars, Ferrari, you got to buy 3 shitty ones before you buy the good one. And guess what? You never even really take it to the track once you get it anyway, right? You never even actually utilize it for what it's meant to. Like, all Rolex will market to you, it'll go to the bottom of the ocean, the James Cameron edition, all this shit. You never actually use it, right? It's no different. So they can cultivate the value that the product might have a certain utility, but you want something because you kind of just fucking want it. But what creates that vibe of just wanting something for the sake of wanting it? It's the fact that they're making you invest into it. It's that they're poking psychological triggers in you. It's the fact that they have brand and social proof. So that makes you chase things, material things as a man.
And then you'll appreciate it. If you paid $100,000 for that watch, then you'll appreciate it.
It's the perceived scarcity. Because every guy acts a certain way. So the minority of guys who are in abundance or in perceived abundance will act in ways that are just simply different. So you just stand out. Perceived scarcity.
Yeah, so let me show you how this looks, okay? So say you live in a place like LA, but it could be anywhere. You go out, maybe, so if you live in LA, you probably have access to almost every major party. These are private parties. Some of them are entrepreneur-based. Some of them are just like gorgeous women. Some of them are, internet marketing conventions or things like that, right? So you go out to that party, and your state is completely level, completely self-sustained. You're happy to be there, but it's really not that big of a deal. And you have so many other things to do that you almost didn't show up. Then the people who you meet there, while they can help you, and you're happy to have synergy with them, you honestly could care less if you talk to them or not, because you have so much going on. You'll meet women who are, to most guys, would be viewed as like creme de la creme, top 1%. But the thing is that you're now dealing with, your circle is that top 1%. So now your version of a 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 is within the top 1%. So now you're meeting a 9.9, but you also met a 9.10, right? So in your mind, you're not even really, it's not really that big of a deal. Plus you've had girlfriends before, you know that they create drama, you know they can be disruptive. So you're already kind of screening. You're already not really sure about them. And a couple other things, you've learned how to actively control your state. So your state is very, very level. You do not have approach anxiety. That's for losers. You do not have the need to self-qualify. You do not have these weird tics where you overanalyze things. You're not needy. You don't over-communicate over text. You're not an over-communicator. Nothing's really a big deal. Then when you invite them out, you have so many other things happening. Like, say that you met out a famous model. Does she just get your time? No, she doesn't just get your time. You invite her to something where there's 50 or 100 other women there. Maybe at least a dinner party, of a small dinner party, okay? Then if she's cool and shows up eventually at the dinner party, because she might flake a few times, but she'll see it on your story and she'll kind of go back and forth with you. Then what'll happen is there's all these girls that are there trying to get your time, and then she now wants to get your time, and then she puts on an effort. Now, when you're looking at her stories and she puts up a bikini photo or a slutty photo, do you like those or comment on them? No. Never. But if she puts up something intelligent or funny or that took effort, then you engage on that. Now she got your attention a bit. So now she's in a pattern of my looks aren't going to cut it. Okay? And you're the one guy where her looks are not going to cut it. Then what happens is she comes to the party, and again, if she just tries to put her tits in your face, like, hey, chill, stop being weird. Chill, stop being weird. She jumps on your lap, hey, hands off the merchandise. This shit ain't for free. Okay? It's got to be at least $5. I was kidding about the $5. Chill. Okay? Then maybe you invite her out in a group of 2 or 3 girls. Then you might invite her out one-on-one. Okay? Now, then you wind up hooking up. Does that automatically mean that you're boyfriend and girlfriend? No. So then from there, then you keep seeing each other casually, and then at a certain point when she's put in the effort because she's now had to scheme and plot on how to get you to be her boyfriend, then you're open-minded to it. And by the way, that having higher value doesn't stop in the relationship. Oh, now I can stop doing parties. Now I stop having value. Now all those things stop. Because then the value goes away. If you bought a $100K Rolex and they start selling it at a discount for $5, you're going to throw out your Rolex. And that's what will happen with your girlfriend. Oh, but what about love? Good luck, my man. This ain't the 50s, brother.
Yeah, now you need to retain the value. So you can't lose your quote-unquote brand or social proof, and you can't lose your fun, swag, and vibes. Yeah.
So what we're showing is, and as Sid mentioned, you have the base level communication that we teach here, and then you have your funnel and your invites. Sometimes you'll meet people out and it's just on like Donkey Kong because your communication was so good. It's just like, you meet out that other business owner and you're joking around. You say, hey, we're gonna go to this after party. And then next thing you do a business deal right on the spot. Maybe you meet someone that you're attracted to, you run off an adventure together that night, and next thing you know, you're a boyfriend and girlfriend that night. Like things like that can happen. But there's also, that shouldn't be the only thing that you have. You should be able to do that maybe if you're in Vegas, Miami, you don't have a big party going there. Although, by the way, this will sound a bit arrogant, you should also have a massive social circle in Miami. You should also have a massive social circle in Vegas. You should also have a massive social circle in New York. You should have, by the way, almost everyone you meet, you should have mutuals. Like when you meet each other, there should be mutuals there, okay? Now again, I don't need these things. I want to be clear. You guys have probably seen the video evidence of it, right? If you know me a long time, you don't need those things. I'm just showing you how to maximize and how to optimize. I don't need these things, but I'm showing you how to maximize and optimize. And by the way, what I'm showing you here is to make it where nobody's above you. Nobody's out of reach. Does that make sense? Like I'm talking like nobody is out of reach when you dial this stuff in. Nobody. I don't care how rich, famous, attractive. Nobody's like above your level whatsoever, okay? And the social skills are also so vital because if you just try to do it off cloud and the kind of stuff I'm talking about here, you're not going to compete with the big ballers. You just can't. So it's actually the social skills that actually get you to get over those guys, okay? Like if you're just like, oh, I have a cool invite and a cool social media and I'm rich, that only gets you so far. But then you've got swagger. Oh my, like that's like the craziest combo you've ever seen. That's just unstoppable. But basically what it is that you have social awareness, social calibration. You're very comfortable in your own skin. You're not wanting anything. You're not needing anything from people. Yes, you have great mentors. Yes, you have people you learn from. But you're not needing it or viewing them like a god. Okay? So everything in your communication in life is basically meant to signal, I won't do that weird shit. Okay? I won't do that weird shit. Not because those people will become mad at you, not because it's gonna hurt their feelings that much, but because it's a waste of their time. And again, like if I see people acting like that, I'm not mad at them. I'm just like, oh, they're going through that era. Guys, I've had people who literally were such little shit talkers and little shit disturbers who later called me back and told me, hey man, yeah, sorry, I was fucking weird. I was kind of in a weird place in my life. I've actually changed a lot. And because I'm so good at reading people, I'm like, oh, they're serious. And we become great friends. It's happened because I can tell when someone's changed. So I don't hold it against anybody when people act like that. I know that people can change. So it's not that they're viewing you as bad. They're just viewing it like there's not a connection there yet that would make sense. So what is the psychology of somebody who's operating at a higher level? Like, what is the fundamental difference that allows that person to be at that higher level compared to you? What are some key fundamental differences?
Higher energy, higher mental bandwidth.
Higher mental bandwidth or energy? Yeah, some more winner effect. What else? Empathy, awareness of others. What else? Attitude. Okay, you know what I put it down to? Self-worth and relationship to time. It's really all your relationship to time. So if you're meeting somebody who's high profile, let's look at that. Some of the things that we've covered. Not being weird, showing no signs of not being comfortable in your own skin, no signs in any way, shape, or form that you're gonna want anything from them. But then from there, it's also that you have your own frame. And if they were to fuck up, you also would eject them out of your frame. And what that does is it makes you the one person, first of all, who they trust, and second of all, who they seek approval from. And you gotta understand this, they are so unaccustomed to being in somebody else's frame and to seeking approval that when you tease a little bit and you push away a little bit and you show a bit of a boundary and you put up a bit of a hoop, they will often respond to that with more attraction and being drawn to you than an average person. Like you could have a Victoria's Secret model who would respond more strongly to that than an average person at Walmart.
Now, why do you think that would happen?
They're so used to the opposite.
Okay, did you guys remember what he said? Somebody who's really high status or really attractive, if you are able to walk away, why would they be more attracted to you than the average person at Walmart?
It's rare.
It never happens to them.
And they're not acclimated to being in frame of somebody else. They're not even used to it, so they react super strong. You'll see with like famous celebrities, business owners, beautiful women, things like that. When you do that, they act often like a creepy chode chasing you. Like they send you essay-long text messages, like the way a creepy chode acts. Like they fall into being the creepy, needy chode. They fall into fanboyism the way that you would have back in the day. I remember when I was learning this stuff and I started getting these like essay-long texts and things like that. And it was just I'm like, wow, this is like the funniest thing I've ever seen, because they're not used to being like that. Like if you've never been in a cold plunge pool in your life, then when you go in it, you're like, oh, like that, because you've never felt that, right? So somebody who's been in the cold plunge a lot, like as a metaphor for being like, someone else putting you in frame, you've been in there a lot, you kind of have an acclimation to it. They have no acclimation to it, so often respond with tremendous attraction and being wildly drawn to you. That is why, by the way, it is actually easier to date a celebrity or to make friends with a super high-level business owner or celebrity than a regular person off the street. From an effort perspective, it's actually easier. The problem is the mind game that your brain will play with you that makes it 1,000 times harder.
And it depends on the environment too, right? If you're approaching them at Runyon Canyon or local hike, it's usually going to be more weird for you. Let's say there was already a barrier, it was a mastermind group, everybody already had to pay, and there's high status people in there. Well, now it's kind of like this very casual conversation, and you're going to notice in those environments, there's so much more nice than the low performance people.
Yeah, remember that they want to chase too. They want to meet people to aspire to as well. They want, like, if I would go to things like EO, Entrepreneur Organization, YPO, Young Presidents Organization, Summit Series, okay, for like the one person watching this video that wants to look it up, some of the networking groups I've been in. When I go to Ty Lopez's networking parties, Ty's having one today actually, wish I could be there. When I go to these rich business owners have flown there, often paid to be there, or they're invited, but they still gave their time, hoping to meet somebody who they can aspire towards. Now, when I do that, when I meet someone like that, whether it's a beautiful woman, whether it's a high-level business owner, famous person, whatever, basically what you have is you have the funnel itself, yes, to invite them to cool things, cool social media, stuff like that. It doesn't mean followers, by the way, it just needs to be cool. But there's also the communication component. Now, here's the main key to the whole thing, okay? So if you're ugly and you're talking to somebody who's very attractive, what happens if you give any regards to looks as being important to you, as part of your frame? If that means anything to you, what does that mean?
We're competing on the wrong parameter.
You're competing on a parameter that you're going to lose. If you're talking to a rich business owner.
By the way, let me add to that. It's not only you're competing on a parameter that you're going to lose, but now you're also drawing attention to the fact that you're ugly or short or whatever. Now they're going to see it.
Yeah, you can't buy into that frame at all. Okay? So for example, say you saw a beautiful woman doing her thirst traps on social media, and you said, hey, that's an amazing video, but what I think would be really cool is to hear what you have to say, because you've got a great brain, but you never share it, right? And let's say that you're really, really well-spoken, then that is going to elicit their frustration at themselves that they haven't been speaking. And then a common response would be, yeah, I know I've got to do that, but I don't know what to do. And you say, hey, I shoot videos all the time. You're welcome to come by, I'll show you. Now you're on your parameters, not theirs, right? Now, by the way, let's be honest here. When you guys see me doing fat parties in LA and doing trips all the time with my kids, like who here has been watching my Instagram story this week? Okay, so what were some things I was doing this week? Yell it out.
Louisville Slugger.
I was in Louisville with my kids. What else was I doing?
Across America.
Traveling across America. I was in some caves, Mammoth Caves, okay? So if I'm looking to network with a high-level business owner, okay, and then that guy sees that I have genuine female friends who like me for me and not my money. They see that I've got kids and that I'm out having fun with my kids. They see that I'm in national parks. What do you think begins to make, what does it look like I value? Is it that I need more money? If I'm spending months of my life in nature, how does that come across to the rich business owner about how much I care about their stupid ass money? Does someone who cares a lot about money just go to Wyoming for a month? No. Okay, so what happens is, do a lot of rich business owners wish that they could grow the nuts, take a month off and go to Wyoming? Yes. How much are they mad at themselves that they don't? 100%. How mad at themselves? Super. They're super fucking mad. How mad are they at themselves that they thought that they become super rich and then still women don't like them for them and that they fuck escorts, which is what most of them are doing, by the way. By the way. Okay? How do they feel about that? But now you're out having genuine fun with great female friends. Who knows if maybe you're doing God knows what with them too, right? So then you go to talk to them. If they're following your story, what does it make it look like you value? Real friendships. Let's say you've got a great group of guy friends. So now you've got great guy friends. You've got cool nature trips. You're doing cool parties. Clearly you're not short on money. You don't need it because you've come into an equilibrium and a balance in your personal ecosystem where you've balanced your expenses to where you have the amount of money that you want. Many of them have gone way too far. It's almost like a lot of these rich guys, almost like a guy on steroids where they have a self-image issue and so they've just got way too big. And then finally someone who just has like a yoga body or a swimmer's body walks by and they just look comfortable in their own skin. They're not hurting their health and hurting their kidneys and hurting their testosterone and all that by taking all the steroids. And that steroids guy's like, man, I wish I was just like this guy. He's got girls. He's not some like space alien, you know, right? Like he's like, I wish I was like that guy. So you can frame it to a rich guy that he's chasing you. And you better believe that that's the only way to do it.
And by the way, you actually are rubbing salt in the wound of what they actually wanted. They probably a lot of them got into making money, not to just be a slave to their business, but to eventually get freedom. Some of them are more like, I just want to make money. Like some of them are genuinely like, I want to build this till the day I die. That's different, like an Elon Musk type guy. But a lot of them just actually wanted to be in nature and all that kind of stuff, but they simply didn't know how to set it up or didn't have the psychology for it because they're too in momentum with working.
Yeah,
and now you're rubbing the salt with a big in their wound because you have a big smile on your face as you're living in abundance. And all of a sudden, your life can be easy, and they're trying to chase you. And when they're trying to chase you in that state, they're offering up their skill sets, their knowledge, their connections, their money, and their leverage, their reputation, their brand.
Same many girls that offer sex to be near you.
Yeah. They offer because you are rubbing the pie in their face. They will put their best foot forward. So that's how it works.
Yeah, and guys, what would a guy like Elon, as an example, hypothetically, what would he be missing? What do you think he would crave that he can't find being Elon Musk? What happens when he walks down the street?
Letting his guard down.
Can he ever let his guard down? No. I mean, he probably has private security, perhaps. You see where I'm going with this? You got private security. You've got people coming up to you. You know, people who don't even enter, like the guy tries to help the country with Doge and actually try to help get the debt down, and half the country's mad at him for trying to reduce the debt. The guy just wants the debt down so he can actually go to get to Mars. So there's a country there to fly from. But it's like, no, try taking down the debt, bad. And so you've got you feel very misunderstood. You feel very misunderstood. People that have critiqued you, people that misquote you, people that are highly reactive to you. What would you be craving? What would you crave? Genuine connection. But what does that look like? I've kind of been telling you. What's it look like?
Someone just being themselves, not trying to take from you.
Yeah, so that's a big piece of it. But how is that relayed?
It looks like Joe Rogan. That's what it looks like. That's what Elon Musk is.
Yeah.
That's what he was missing the whole time. No,
guys, what is it? We've told you what it looks like. Describe it. I'm just quizzing you.
Not being weird.
Not being weird, but what else? Social media. What's in your guys? Social media is everything these days. What's in your social media?
Abundance in different categories.
Okay, I'm going home. Go back to that. Okay, guys. What am I showing in my social media to get it to where I can eat? Guys, at this point, what am I doing all this for, more for? Wealthy clients and high-end male connections and some high-end female connections, or for dating? At age 45, when I've been doing parties in Los Angeles for 20 years. Am I just trying to meet that next girl? That's what this is all for? I got to meet a girl? No. Okay, so what am I doing this for? Guys, what am I selfishly, yes, I love philanthropy, but selfishly, who am I trying to meet? Guys, I'm mostly trying to expand my network in business and guy friends. That's more what I'm looking to do so I can be better here for you. Okay? The girls thing I solved decades ago. So what I'm looking to do is I'm looking to make it clear to a prospective networking prospect who has a lot of things that I would aspire to, that I've got something that they would aspire to as well. So if I play this game, look,
If he plays the game, what kind of game would you be tempted to play if you're looking at connecting with very wealthy people?
The money game.
The money game. Are you going to win at that game in a city where, like LA, where there's so many billionaires?
No.
Most likely not. Most likely not.
would you think that wearing a $120,000 Patek Philippe watch would be a good watch to have? In those circles, is that a high-end watch?
Okay, in a smaller circle, what would a watch like that serve as? Starts with a Q.
It'd be a flex.
Yeah, it'd be a qualifier. Okay, like he's of a certain status. It's a conversation starter. In those circles, when they got $3-4 million Richard Mille, that it doesn't make a shit. The Patek looks like you're broke.
Yeah, it looks like you're broke. Like, I specifically wear watches that are, maybe 50, 100 grand, but I pick weird ones so that it could come across not like I'm competing on money, but one that's a little bit weird that it shows that I chose it. Like, I chose it because I liked it. But if you're just competing on money, you'll never actually win. Look, if you want to meet me or Sid, and we've been doing parties in LA for 20 years, and then you build a really good social circle of girls out here in Denver, is that enough? If that's what you're going to show me and Sid, you're like, hey, I know you guys are in town for the day, but I've got a great group of girls from Denver for you to meet, so you should come out with me tonight. Is that going to draw in me and Sid if we're doing parties in Hollywood for all these years? So you're playing our game at that point. You see that? You're playing our game at that point. So you've got to start thinking strategically about something that we don't have and that we crave and a part of ourselves that's frustrating and that we aspire to. And you've got to start thinking like that, okay? So everything in my social media is designed to make it clear I don't care that you have 100 times more money than I do. I don't care. Okay? I don't care. Hey, Owen, want to come to this really high-end networking thing? I'm with my kids, sorry. And you've got to say no. There has to be a lot of no's so that they see that you're somebody to aspire to try to get their attention.
And by the way, that the no's have to come up naturally because you actually are enjoying the life that you built and you actually were proactive with designing that life. When you feel that level of alignment to it, flow state when you're living that kind of life, presence when you're living that kind of life, that can't be faked. You can fake it a little bit through social media, but it can't entirely be fake. People can see, once that business owner goes to meet him and they see a different look in his eye, then it's clear that he has something intangible that that guy does not have.
Intangible. And by the way, so why don't I just compete on money? I made a lot of money. Why don't I just compete on money?
Someone always is more.
Okay? I've helped to build over $100 million in sales in my life. Why don't I just compete on money? I'm not looking to just meet people that did 100 million sales. So if I compete just on money, where am I stuck? Do you guys remember how I keep hammering you? Don't use looks and money? Yes. Okay, why don't I try to compete? Why don't I try to attract based off looks? How come I don't do that? Genetics. I have a genetic limitation. I'm a dwarf. Okay? Okay, a guy like me, I say, fuck it. Fuck social skills. The next 5 years, I'm gonna perfect my macros, get a hair transplant, take creatine, all that stuff. I do that for 5 years. What do I look like?
Try hard.
No, I mean, I think I'd look healthy, right? But I'd kind of just look like him. Here, stand up. I'd look basically like him. I look like him.
That's a creatine body right there.
Yeah, like I would look like him. Like, stand up. Like, turn around. I'd look like him. Right? And it would be about 5 years. Okay? Like, I'd look like him. I wouldn't be the Bugatti. I'd be the Lexus. It'd be a nice Lexus. But that would mean that I'm stuck dating other Lexuses. So if I'm going to go get fit, why would I be doing it? Is it because I want to date other Lexuses?
Listen.
I'd be doing it just for health.
You can get to a baseline fitness for your health or for your own passion for it, But you have the reality is find your lane of differentiation. Where are you niche? What are your unique strengths? What's going to stand out? That's the real key. And cultivate that value. And not just, when I say cultivate that value, that means deep work, focus on that, cultivate every detail of it, make sure that your differentiation is real differentiation, and go all out with it, and then hold the frame that you don't give a fuck about what other value they have, that my shit is what makes me more different and fun.
Yeah.
And then people will fall into that frame.
Yeah, so in other words, if you get obsessed with your looks, then if you meet a woman who's super beautiful, but nothing that you do with your looks is gonna get to her level, and that's your obsession, you will tend to pedestalize her inevitably. It's almost impossible not to, and then she's gonna feel that from you. If you're obsessed with money, and then you meet another business owner who has more money than you, and your total obsession is money, they're gonna feel that from you. So you wanna get it, you see another business owner, you wanna get it to where you have their friendship, you have their networks, you have their advice, you're on their private planes, they're saying, hey, come crash at the mansion, etc. You know, hey, you want to do your birthday party at my mansion? Hey, do you want to do your birthday party on my yacht? Hey, do you want to bring some of your best clients on my yacht? They want your approval too, okay? So in other words, if you're, let's go into the headspace of a very beautiful woman, right? So she is sick of all these fucking losers that just want to put it in her. She's sick of it, she hates it, and so as soon as you come out and you're another one of those, she's already got a bunch of those. So in her mind, she's like, if all that I wanted was just to spread my legs for another guy that just wants to put it in me, I have a better version of that than you. Does that make sense? Yeah. I have, like if I've got someone who just wants to take value from me, they're just trying to take value, I've got a better version of that. Like if I want to,
She got a celebrity and she got a dildo.
yeah, yeah, she got somebody handle. If I want to hang out with a creep, I can meet a better creep. Okay? I can meet a better weirdo. I can meet a better value taker. I can meet a better creep. So you're now competing within the sphere of creeps and value takers. So there has to be very, very clear differentiation between you and them.
That's why we started this conversation off with talking about communication and winner effect. Once that is activated, now you have a tool set which is different than the tool set everybody else is using. But you don't play their game. You play your own game and get an unfair ROI from playing your own game. But it has to be your own game. Don't play games where you're inevitably going to lose. You will inevitably lose with these other games. So now you've seen the upward spiral that's kind of being built here. I have communication skills. I can walk away. I have the right offer. I have differentiation. I'm more fun. I'm in my frame. Once you have that, and that's when he's saying like the billionaires or whatever are giving all their value up front because they want what you have, which cannot be explained in words. It's beyond words. Then after that, what begins to happen is like, think about how the average person would be trying to, if you were trying to approach throwing the Hail Marys, that high status person or that attractive person, you would have to work so much volume. Like, hey, I want to take you on a date. Hey, I want to take you out to lunch. Hey, I want to take you on a date. Hey, I want to take you out to lunch. Hey, I want to take you on a date. You would have to do that so many times till one random high status person would agree, and you'd still be at odds to make it weird later. Does that make sense? But that's a lot of the games that people are playing. They're playing the numbers game when you should really be playing the strategic game. So that's the difference. But the strategic game, you don't naturally play the strategic game. Even if me and Owen give you all the tactics in the world, it doesn't mean the strategic game just comes to you. Strategic game comes from having proactive will and proactive thought. Enough dopamine in your brain to look at a problem and not ping off of anybody else, but to solve it for yourself and to solve it for the results that you authentically want.
Let me show you an example of when my friend Graham Stephan invited me onto his podcast. So Graham is super, you guys know Graham Stephan? Super famous guy, definitely follow him, highly intelligent, a guy that I aspire to be like in many ways, qualities that he has that I aspire to. So here'd be an example. We were just chatting. Now, I would never, ever read messages, but because we're going on these are very surface level messages, we're going on we have a podcast together coming out. So he just said, hey man, hope all is well. Just want to reach out to say how much I've been enjoying your content recently. In the last few months, I've been choosing to scale back on content, travel more, and pursue non-monetary hobbies slightly more often. Found that very difficult to do, but still have some anxiety during times I'm not as productive as I should be. And your content's really helped me to find that deeper purpose. So then I said, hey man, that makes me so happy to hear. I gave up 5 years of business and growth and travel to see the country with my kids. He said, yeah. He said, thank you. He said, yeah, oddly enough, not working is way more of a challenge than buckling down and grinding. I said, hey man, that's it. Then 2 months later, hey man, any plans to come to Vegas the next few months? If you're interested, I'd love to have you on my podcast as coffee hour. Would be a blast to dive into certain topics for people that are trying to figure out. Basically, some paraphrase. Okay, now Graham's, I would never read someone's DMs. I think that's very surface level. And him and I talked about that on the podcast. So you'll see the actual conversation, right? Well, Graham, what is Graham's social media presence compared to my social media presence? How much bigger? Okay.
Who is Graham interviewing? What kind of people? Name some.
Hormozy.
Okay, Hormozy, what other level? High level people?
Mark Cuban.
Mark Cuban. It's a high fucking level podcast.
Okay, so say that I go to Graham and I say to Graham, hey man, the thing I really want to do is build my real estate portfolio and my investments. And I really, really, really want to do that. Where am I now in the sphere of his mind? I'm a less than 1 out of 10 version of him, okay? So now let's say that Graham was meeting me and he was like, hey man, I'm working on how to say hi to someone when I'm out. Where does that put him in my view? You see what I'm saying, right? So, and I think Graham would agree with this. It's about cultivating what's unique to you. Graham's unique gifts are how formal his mind works and how structured his mind works and building structures. He's gifted at that. My gift is more like this crazy frenetic public speaking, socializing, going from being an introvert to an extrovert, finding the spiritual meaning of life, actually kind of enjoying life a little bit more. So Graham is Graham, I'm me, right? So it's two different people that are not meeting within hierarchy. Instead, it's two different people that are one of one, not meeting within a hierarchy. And we'll see me and him talk about that on the podcast that's coming out. Super cool podcast. So those opportunities don't happen if you're playing somebody else's game, okay? So, like Ty Lopez, another good friend of mine, lives in a big, huge mansion in LA. It's worth about $100 million. It's the mansion of the Sultan of Brunei. I live in a cool mansion. Tiesto Navici used to live there. It's a cool mansion, but Ty's is way fucking bigger, right? If every time I go to Ty, I'm like, oh man, I just love mansions. I love mansions. Oh, this is a bigger mansion. Oh, I wish I had a mansion like you. How do I learn from you, Ty, to get a mansion like you? What's happening?
You're lowering yourself.
Yeah, then let's say I look like I have anxiety when we eat dinner together. Then let's say I do weird shit where I'm like, I know Ty and the back real story of the In My Garage. And here's the truth. What if he sees that I did that to other people? Right? By the way, as soon as you talk, one of the reasons I never talk shit or name names on people is because high-end clients see that you did that to somebody else that you work with, they'll never work with you. Any of the people that you see talking shit on the internet will rarely have a high-end client. They're not serving high-end clients. Because as soon as high-end clients see that, they're like, fuck this shit. I'm not going near this fucking person. No way. I've dated girls that start talking shit on their exes. I'll politely excuse myself and just fucking leave. Because I know that I'm the next ex to get shit talked on. So understand, when they say be yourself, you've really got to be yourself. But see, even take Graham, right? Graham, really great businessman, makes a lot of money, very wealthy, very successful. And he'd be the first person to tell you this. He would tell you this very openly. Are there guys that make more money than him? So what did Graham do that's uniquely cool? Does Graham have as much money as Mark Cuban? No, guy, okay? You're like, I thought just because you're on YouTube, he's got that YouTube money, okay? So Mark Cuban is was the owner of the Dallas Mavericks, okay? So if Graham is interviewing Mark Cuban, what is cool that Graham is doing that Mark Cuban didn't do? What's really cool that Graham did? Guys, it's sitting plain in your face. It's not like he talked to a space alien. What do you do? He made a YouTube channel. Guys, how the fuck did not everybody here know the answer to that? What do you do that the other guy? Okay, he made a YouTube channel, okay? So he has a very active YouTube, right? So rather than Graham saying, I'm going to compete with Mark Cuban by trying to be a mega billionaire and then grab lunch with him, he said, I love YouTube. I like making video and sharing content. This is an area that I'm uniquely qualified. Now, Mark's been on Shark Tank and all that stuff. He'll be on Fox News, whatever he's on, or I think he's a liberal. But you see my point, right? But the point being is this: you can't compete with Mark Cuban if you're playing his game. But if you love creating social media and you build that, you now have something unique. So Mark Cuban and Graham are really meeting on an equal footing. Joe Rogan is also meeting people like Donald Trump on equal footing.
By the way, when you cultivate what's unique to you, if you are the best in that realm, now that billionaire guy will pay a premium for that. A crazy level premium.
Who would have been more nervous and had something to lose when Joe Rogan interviewed Trump?
Trump.
Yeah, Trump held his own great, but who had a lot more to lose? But who actually has more money?
Who actually has more influence in the grand scheme of things?
Who has more power? But when he's interviewing Joe, Joe had the leverage in that situation. Because if Joe doesn't like him, Joe's very popular. He can say, fuck this guy, don't vote for him. So he created lanes where he has leverage. Right? Let's say that Joe had said, I just love politics and I want to be a Republican senator, and he played that, what would Trump's view of him be? But would Trump view him as bad, or would he just view him as he's earlier in his learning curve? He's just earlier in his journey. He's figuring himself out. It's not like he's thinking bad of him. It's just not connecting, right? When Trump and Joe Rogan did an interview, they kind of connected at the right point where there was synergy there. Okay? By the way, I didn't finish this thread. The big thing that separates low-value people from high-value people is their self-worth, like I talked about the boundary, but also their relationship to time. So do you remember, I didn't finish that thread. Remember when I said that a lot of internet gurus would be like, I turned down a $30,000 lunch? And even though that is a price anchor for an upsell, it's often true. What is the monetary reason why they could honestly say they turned down a $30,000 lunch? It's just simple math. What's the reason why? Yell that word out loud.
Opportunity cost.
Too many opportunities, right? So in other words, if you're making $1 million a month, and then you do the math on that, how much money do you need to bring in every day to make $1 million a month? Well, that's why you guys aren't rich. It's not that hard math, guys.
Per year.
1 million divided by 30. 300.
It's 83,000 per year, right? Or
No, it's 30,000.
I mean, per month.
It's around $84K a month. Okay, so to make about $1 million a month, what do you have to sell a day? What do you have to make a day? 3K a day times 30?
33.
It's around 33K, right? So if that's the case and someone says, hey, I'll pay you 30K for lunch, you're looking at it and you're going, like 20K is a hard no. 30K is a maybe, because it's loose cash, it's low investment. You don't have to pay any expenses on it. But even then, it's probably taking you out of momentum. And and then the big question is, are they really happy with lunch for 30K, or they want to be friends? So is this really lunch, or is this an ongoing obligation? And then they're going to be fucking bitter later when you don't become BFS. Like, I paid you 30 grand to lunch and you're not my friend? So they look at it and say no. So it might seem hard to believe.
You gotta look deeper at the potential spider's web that it can ensnare you in any one of these things.
Yeah, so when you're at a higher level, you have a higher view of the value of your own time. Now, by the way, this is another side quest. People get a little bit delusional because often on social media, they'll talk about valuing yourself more, and they'll talk about having higher boundaries. I think that's a little bit delusional. Because, for example, a couple will have a breakup, and then all the reels and the fucking TikToks they're getting is like, he wasn't good enough for you, and you need to have higher standards. It's like, what if you just suck? Like, what if he didn't treat you well because you suck? Do you see what I'm saying? Like, what if the reason he didn't marry you is because you're annoying? But they never actually say that. So there's a combination of tangible value. There has to be a combination of tangible value combined with you having high self-esteem about that value and charging a proper price for that value. It's not just that you charge more because you think you're worth it because you're fucking delusional and narcissistic. It's a combination of those things. Some people have too high boundaries and not good enough product quality or something to add to the table. Some people have a ton to add to the table, but they don't value themselves enough. So you had to balance those two. But anyway, what I'm trying to show you guys is that you want to be building it to where your time is at a premium, okay? And then this is what's going to get people reacting. I would recommend that you guys go to a high-end watch store, go to a Patek Philippe store, go to a Rolex store, go to an AP store like Audemars Piguet, go to a Richard Mille store. I don't know which ones of those are here in Denver. But go there and watch what happens. So say that you walk into a Patek Philippe store and you say, hey, I've got 100 grand, I want to buy a watch. And you plunk down 100 grand. Will they say yes if you plunk down 100 grand? No, they won't. What will they do if you say, I want to buy a watch? They'll do an interview with you. They'll do a background check on you.
They'll make you write an essay?
Yeah, you write some little essay about how you value the brand.
Yeah, about your lifestyle? They want to see if it's in alignment?
And then they'll make you buy a crappy Calatrava or some watch you don't want. They'll make you buy sometimes up to $1 million in watches before you can get the one you want, before you can get the good one. So, and they're most likely not even going to let you do that, by the way. Why is it that they have to do that? What would happen if they didn't do that? Okay, a stainless steel Nautilus, what's that go for on the open market? On the gray market?
110.
Depends on the one you're getting, but around 100K, right? What happens to that stainless steel watch if they don't do that process of saying no? What happens to the value of it? What's it drop to? Does it drop to maybe 50K? Does it drop to 1,000?
The pawn value.
It drops to the price of stainless steel. That's it. Drops the price of stainless steel. So it's basically drops the price of like a random watch you get at Macy's. So it's specifically because it's hard to get and you can't get it is why you want it. Okay? So how many of you guys are hard to get like that versus easy to get? But the thing is, to be hard to get is that, like I said about the narcissist who just thinks that like, I'm going to value myself more and have higher standards. Like, for example, I've had exes where I wouldn't marry them and they got mad, right? They got real mad that I wouldn't marry them. And then they're like, I'm going to raise my standards. I'm only going to date a guy who would want to marry me. Well, they do that, but what kind of guy do they get? Like, does Brad Pitt fly down from his private jet and marry them? Oh, you have standards now. No, what they do is they go for a guy at 5% the accomplishment, intellect, value, and then he just offers to marry them, right? So you can't just raise your standards. There has to be coupled with actual value. But the thing is, and there also has to be a lead base, right? There has to be a lead base. So a lot of you guys are stuck at the level of not even having lead generation, right? The hardest thing in any business is usually lead generation. So when we're showing you guys how to do cold approach and how to just chat with random people to network and meet new people, what we're doing, repeat this after me, say the word 0 to 1. 0 to 1. That's always the hardest part. 0 to 1. Peter Thiel has a book called 0 to 1. Is that what it's called? 0 to 1? Yeah, it's called 0 to 1 because the hardest part is always 0 to 1, right? Some guy who you're like, yeah, you've got to have value and you've got to be worthwhile and you have to have boundaries. Your time has to be worth something. You're like, well, nobody likes me. Like I click on my Instagram story, it's like my brother, my mom, and like a couple people from work are looking at it, right? As opposed to like a bunch of girls or something. Well, learning how to meet people randomly, that is how you go from 0 to 1. That is how you begin to generate lead flow, okay? You start generating lead flow. You do that using, as Sid said, communication skills. Here's the best way I put it to you. When you have communication skills and when you understand direct response marketing and you understand how to shoot social media, let's say that today I lost all my fame, everybody who I ever networked with in LA forgot who I was, and basically I was at a point now where I was starting back from 0. How rapidly could I rebuild my social media presence, meet a bunch of people out, and start making money? How long would it take me? I'd probably be making 30K a month within about 90 days. And that would be me, by the way, like with no brand at all, just starting from scratch, I'd be about 30K a month. And then I'd be making way more than that within 18 months. Way more. That's why I'm in complete abundance, right? But I could lose my whole brand. No one remembers me. No one knows who I am. Nobody out knows who I am. Okay? How fast could I meet a new girlfriend if every girl that I ever met just forgot who I was?
Same day.
Well, for the caliber that I'm looking for, it could be like a couple months. But my standard is very high. To have a girlfriend, like someone who you could tolerate, that's very high. So. Okay, but I'd be meeting great people that most of you guys make your girlfriend same day. So, okay, subtle diss, but just being honest. Okay, be in about a minute. So, be about 3 seconds. So, basically what it is that, yeah, you guys throw up the white flag for anybody, most of you guys. So you'd be like, forget all this social skills stuff. I'm throwing up the white flag. I'm getting married. Like, bad deal for you. Like, bad economic deal. You just still do it. So, basically, because you have no leverage and you just quit, and you quit on yourself, and you quit on your dreams, and you quit on your future, and you quit on your DNA. So basically what it is, okay, because it just hurts, and I'm tired, and I don't know, and okay, so anyway, so there's just no fighting spirit there. So basically, yeah, you just don't have the fighting spirit, man. So, okay, just throwing up that white flag, baby. So basically what happens is, right, you gotta be that guy that doesn't just throw up the white flag, you know what I mean, right? To get you to marry that girl would be a challenge, would be an accomplishment, not just like, you just threw up the white flag, yes, I am yours and you are mine, but right, then she'll be cheating on you with the fucking groom, she'll be cheating on you with your best man during your freaking wedding, she'll be cheating on you with the guy serving the cake, okay, so just be aware of that. The default is getting cheated on, okay, the default is getting cheated on. So, okay, so we'll keep going. So basically what you have, the default is infidelity. So then from there, what you have is, that's the initial lead generation. So what do you learn to get lead generation off the jump? You learn about vocal tonality, how to talk and talk, how to own the frame, how to self-amuse, how to initiate conversation.
How to do an invite. And once you build up that initial foundation, because that initial foundation for a lot of people, when the winner effect is lower, it fills you with anxiety, it fills you with adrenaline, you don't quite know what to do yet, you're kind of wearing your metaphorical training wheels before they come off. That 0 to 1 is really about training wheels. Once those come off, then you can start being more strategic and getting things done easier because you have that base level foundation of your brain is working better, your communication skills are working better, you know how to invite. That is where everything starts. It's like starting a business, but you never learned sales. And now you have that foundation, which now the tree can grow on top of, and now it becomes things like he can go and get promoters very easily, but now they trust him to not be weird or creepy. He's not just like the average rich guy who's weird and creepy when the promoters, screw them over for a bunch of money and bring their girls around. He can be cool. You get the trust of all these other connections, and then life goes into an upward spiral. Now you're not just going from 0 to 1, you're going from 0 to 100. And then, but if we never go from 0 to 1, you're not going to get to 100. So it has to always start with fundamentals is everything. And fundamentals means that you have to pay your dues. You have to be okay with some pressure. You have to be okay with putting skin in the game. You have to make the effort to seek out individuals who have been there and done that and can impart the best distilled knowledge and skills onto you that can point out your blind spots, things that you don't even know you're doing that are creeping people out potentially. And that we can just you got to be able to learn how to shift your energy so you can get into that upward spiral, and then you tack on strategy from there for the results that you truly want. And then that's when things start getting better and better and better and easier. It's like, ironically, at the more advanced levels, it's easier because now you have cultivated that value and that mindset, and you know exactly what creates differentiation for you. And now all of a sudden you're finding these win-wins with other people that are like billionaires, attractive people, and you're getting leverage, and you are now standing on the shoulder of metaphorical giants. And that's the upward spiral that he's really trying to get you into.
Yeah, and then by the way, you'll get to the point. Yeah, thank you. That was very good. Very good. So that it's also later it gets to the point where you've got friends that are doctors, and if your friend's sick, you have people that you can call up. You have friends that are programmers that could help you if you have a computer issue. You have friends that are in big tech who you could call if you have issues. You have friends who know about supplementation or
and by the way, because you have the right invite, let's say you host a networking event or a party, now you get to hang out with all of those acquaintances or kind of low not as close friends all in one area, and they all feel like they have some of your time and attention where they can also be respectful of you, because familiarity breeds contempt to a certain degree. And then you get to hang out with your close friends in the meantime, and now you have this network because of the party that you can get the best value out of those people from if you needed to, but you're also not burning down your time hanging out with 200 people all the time. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and guys, what it is okay, so because I'm so much always trying to help everybody I know, I will always have friends that are less accomplished and have not done much, right? And so I will always try to invite them to cool things where they really shouldn't be. I'm kind of like, okay, I'll invite people to my parties, and they'll have some friend that really shouldn't be there that they try to bring as dead weight. It's like when you invite an attractive girl and she wants to bring a group of dudes, and you have to decide if you want to let her bring the dead weight. And so I'll sometimes bring dead weight and try to bring people who really shouldn't be there to different parties. And inevitably, it always burns me. It burns me every time. Like, I've done parties where I invite, I remember one time I invited this one guy, and he just came up to me and he was like, I remember this one I had the epiphany in it, and forevermore it stuck with me. He was like, this other guy's trying to steal my girl. This other guy's trying to steal my girl. And what he doesn't understand is that for me to put on that party, to get that amount of invitation, right, to get those people there, to have that party, to get the neighbors to be okay to do it, to set up security, to set up everything that the party needs, what is the total cost between the hard expenses plus all the logistics? What's the total cost of that?
50K.
I mean, if you actually look at it, an opportunity cost loss, it's crazy, okay? So what is my goal in an event like that? My goal,
have a good time.
Yeah.
Is
it's not having a good time at
the
all.
least of it.
I have a horrible time.
It's the least of it. Because have a good time would mean it is that short-term thinking mentality. If you just go have a good time, then why do all this shit? Why put in all that time? It's about getting many ROIs.
If I'm at my party and a perfect 10 says, I'm taking you downstairs right now to fuck your brains out, I will say no. Why is that? It's not. Do you know what that's a $50,000 to $100,000 plus multi-million-dollar opportunity cost loss, bang. But by the way, that's why they try to do it at the party, because they know it's true. So they're like, this guy gave up the whole fucking night to fuck me? Oh my God. And then they want to do it for validation. Oh, it's insane. It's insane. Okay? So, yeah, Dan Bilzerian teaches all that stuff. You know about all that stuff. So basically, it's, that's why your time becomes ultra high value when you're doing a party. They chase it and chase it and chase it. So why the girls want to get behind the DJ booth. So, no, absolutely not. Even if I'm talking to some really high level guy that I want to talk to, he's got about 7 minutes. Now, how am I going to, at most, how am I going to strategically do it? I'm going to talk to him for 7 minutes, maybe talk to the girl for about 3 to 20 minutes max, because I'm dumb. I shouldn't even give 20. Okay, I'm dumb. And usually try to keep it shorter. So how am I playing that party when I'm doing it? What am I doing? If I talk to that guy for 7 minutes, how will I continue it after the party? Guys, come on. Okay, guys, you couldn't be this dumb.
You put them in a funnel.
Guys, if I talk to him for 7 minutes, no major deal happened. So how am I going to follow up? Why am I only talking for 2 minutes, 7 minutes, et cetera? Well, first of all, what happens with that guy if I talk to him the whole night? What does that do to my value if I gave him my whole night? It super tanks my value. But second of all, what am I going to do to follow up? So I did the party where I have everybody there. How am I going to follow up with that guy that I talked to for 7 minutes?
Get his phone number.
Meet him later. Okay? Meet him fucking later. Okay? So in the same way, if you're talking to a girl at your party, don't go into the light. When my friends are having a party and I see them like on the couch with some girl, I'm like splashing water. I'm like, don't go into the light, my friend. Get up. Get her number. Get back out there. What are you doing? What are you doing? Like, are you marrying her? Like, are you marrying her tonight? Then get her fucking Instagram and get up and get back in the fucking party. Because there's too many people there to meet. A good party is going to be lead generation for 2 months. Lead generation you're going to wake up every day with girls trying to set up dates with you. You're going to wake up every day with people trying to network with you. You're not going to have time to network with all of them, okay? You're not going to have time. If I do an event like this, a free event, how long of a tail do I have of people that may want to do trainings with me after you've been to this event? It's a several year-long tail. So am I going to sit there like, and I love you, bro. You know, you got this cool shirt and stuff, right? New Orleans, I love New Orleans, right? Am I going to be here at this event and then be like, oh shit, man. Are you thinking of like maybe taking a training someday? Are you thinking of maybe someday doing a training?
No, of course not.
Not anymore.
Okay, right? No, I'm going to talk to all you guys, connect to all you guys, get you a chance to see me in a positive light where I have control the environment and social proof and all the leverage. I'm going to talk to everybody. Try to talk to me here more than 3 minutes. You can't. It's not because I'm being a dickhead. It's because there's too many people here. How would all you feel, too, if I just have stuck on him the whole time? You want to ask me a question for a minute?
Continuously underestimate how powerful these dynamics are. When you don't give people your time and attention readily, and when you actually are focused on getting multiple ROIs, people can feel that off of you. So even if you're at the party, the goal is to talk to everybody. Everybody say talk to everybody. Exchange contacts. Say it again. Exchange contacts. And then from there, you're looking to see, screening to see if there's win-wins. And then you are also playing a good host, making sure everybody's having a good time and the vibe is on point. That's what your job really is there to do. That's what your job mainly is at a party like that.
Total amateur hour when you see the guy run off to the room with the girl. Total fucking amateur. He's like, a girl finally liked me. Oh, sexy time, right? Like, wow. Okay, like total amateur hour, okay? You have dates for 60 to 90 days after a great party, and they want to come out. And by the way, it shouldn't even be one-on-one, okay? Unless you know that it's like really on, it should not be one-on-one. It should be small groups where you go out in a group, and then also you're in a dynamic where there's 6 or 7 of them or 12 of them, and then still your attention is in demand. There is just like buying the crappy paddock, the okay paddock, and eventually spending $1 million before you're allowed to buy the paddock you wanted, there has to be a period where they got to get your attention. Now again, guys, you've all seen the video footage of me back in the day if you know me for a while. I don't need to do this to meet somebody, but what this does is it gets it to where no one is out of, like, no caliber of person is out of reach. Remember too, there's a lot of shitty watches that sell for tons of money because the dynamics are implemented, okay? So what's funny is, like, most of you in this room are more attractive than me, but because I simply understood certain dynamics, my options will be higher than yours.
Not only that, you'll be pinging off of the way he's dressed, and because he has a crowd, his beard, and you'll be thinking, do I need a dress like that? Do I need a watch like that? Do I need a hat like that? Do I need a belly like that? Do I need whatever? You'll be pinging off of you'll be pinging off of him. And your mind will go into a state of comparison.
Yeah, so the way that it works when these ugly loser guys wind up, quote unquote, punching up and meeting people out of their league is that the person that they're meeting that's out of their league, whether business, attraction, whatever, is entranced with them and then begins to seek their approval and see something in them that they don't have that they wish that they could cultivate. Okay? And by the way, this is why the looks and money thing is so common with guys that are losers and idiots, because they'll go say hi to someone when they're out, that person rejects them, and then where does their mind default? To what caused the rejection. That's even if they ever go say hi, which most of them will never even actually go say hi. They just assume it wouldn't work and don't even try. But of those who do, which is like 5%, 95% don't even try and just have all these limiting beliefs. 5% try, they go, hey, what's up? Can I get your number? And then it doesn't work, right? But they're not aware of any of these dynamics. It'd be like trying to sell like some little fucking bullshit watch. You try to sell that for 100 grand or 50 grand, whatever, right? And if you don't have the dynamics in place, no one buys it. And you go, oh, well, you can't sell watches for 50 grand. You can't sell a stainless steel watch for 100 grand. But of course, people fight and claw to buy a Patek Nautilus. People fight and claw to get a Rolex Daytona. People fight and claw to get some plastic ceramic Richard Mille. Like you can sell a ceramic watch.
When they fight and claw, what do they rationalize about the watch? That tells the time like your phone. Oh, it's complicated. It's artistry. It's, what do they call it? Horology. All this other shit. Horology. Yeah. Horology, all this shit. And they will backwards rationalize that they are artistic, that they're a gentleman, that they have taste. It's like wafting like a fine glass of wine or something. Oh, it has oak, it has bullshit, it has whatever, cherries. They'll start thinking in that way. It's all because they put money on the line. That's all it is. They rationalize. You don't have, listen, nobody has taste like that unless you're a watch nerd. Unless you're a watch nerd, the taste you think you have is all rationalized. You don't even know the gear functions that are actually going on behind the watch. Can you name the reference numbers and the complications? Fuck no. Do you know how many complications? No. It's all a lie you're telling yourself. Your phone has more complications in it than the goddamn watch. Yet, if we asked you, how much is that watch? That one?
$53K.
$53,000 watch or an iPhone? Which one are you going to take? Okay, now you're going to say, okay, now you can't resell it. You're going to tell yourself, I'm going to resell it for $53K. You can't resell it. Which do you take, an iPhone or the watch? No, you're lying to yourself. That's how girls are when they say, that's what girls do when they say they want a nice guy. Do you understand? You just did it to yourself right there.
I want a nice guy.
Okay, so I want the iPhone. You don't want the iPhone. You're lying to yourself. So what you're going to do is you're going to go for the watch. And what actually has more utility, the iPhone or the watch? The iPhone has way more utility, way more engineering, all that other shit.
Thousands of times more.
Steve Jobs put his fucking life and DNA into that shit.
And liver.
And everything. Everything. So now, these jokes are getting layered. There's levels to this shit. So now you get the iPhone. The iPhone is your version of I have all these healthy habits. I meditate, I read, I go on a little jog out in the mountains, but there's no value created around it via relatability and marketing. That's all it is.
Yeah, and what you'll also see commonly is club promoters, and I think club promoters are the best example to see. I'm at a bit of a loss with telling guys to become a club promoter because many of the top club promoters in the US came through our trainings. Big ones, real big famous ones. Guys that run entire cities came through our trainings. Like pretty much some of the most elite promoters in the world came through our trainings, but all of them got addicted on drugs. So I have this mixed feeling because I'm like, well, I mean, like, because I could show you some, like, I'm not going to, but I could show you some incredibly high level like guys that are just crushing it, and you'd be like, damn, like Owen trained this guy, but then like this guy has like, you know, a ketamine habit, a cocaine habit. What's that other pink one they do? 2C, whatever. What's that? 2CB, like whatever fucking crack shit these guys are putting in themselves. So people just become who they hang out with. Kind of like I said earlier about how people are just at a low unconscious level and they rationalize. So basically what you have is these guys like crush with promoting, but I'm hesitant to tell that to you. The only one that I know who came up watching my stuff is Drunk Justin 2. And if you look at him, I'd advise you pull your phone out and look at Drunk Justin 2. 5'4" Indian kid. 5'4" Indian kid. Look it up, okay? And he doesn't drink, by the way. So Justin's the only one I know that doesn't get fucked up. But look at his look at his life, okay? So he has those dynamics in place. A lot of you guys are like modern women. I can't get married. I can't meet a quality girl. Justin wouldn't really get married probably because he has so much abundance. But the point is that guy can meet a quality girl in his freaking sleep, right? Now he's a 5'4" Indian kid. Okay. Now I don't think there's a problem being 5'4", and I don't think there's any problem being Indian. But a lot of dumbass motherfuckers do because they're limited, right? So you've got a 5'4" Indian kid bodying you. Okay. Oh, thank you, bro. Bodying you. Like just taking a pie and cramming it in your face so bad. A 5'4" little Indian kid. Okay. All that he did, and Justin could like tell you all about it. Meet him or homies. Literally just put the dynamics in place. So a club promoter, now Justin's actually highly intelligent, but a lot of club promoters are not. So, but he hides it too. He doesn't even need to show that. So you could be highly intelligent, have all these things going for you, but the dynamics are not in place, you're fucked. A typical club promoter, what is the dynamic that they have going in their favor? It's a very artificially generated dynamic, but what's going in their favor that makes them attractive?
Social proof, being a gatekeeper.
Okay, now here's the funny thing. They have access to clubs, but do women actually need access to clubs from a promoter? It's so dumb. It's so dumb. But they have access to clubs, right? Then they invite a bunch of girls out. So what's the ratio now?
20 to 1.
Look, you have me and Sid here and all you here. This is like being a club promoter. This ratio that you see here. What is me and Sid's situational status? Not necessarily in life, but in this room.
Strong.
So does that mean that we're better than you? But in the dynamic that we built here, we have the value, okay? Now there is tangible value behind it, but you see my point. The dynamics are set in place. So the promoter somehow makes the girls think that like they need him to get in a club. Probably about the dumbest thing I've heard in my life. Although to be fair, a really good promoter can get them on private jets and a lot of stuff. But the point being is that a lot of them don't even do that. So now the ratio is one promoter to like, plus they're like rich bottle buyer, which the girls don't like, but tolerate to get free drinks. Then the promoter's the one that cleans up. And then basically what happens is, he's got 20, 30 girls. I mean, look at the videos in there of him walking down the street with 20, 30 girls.
It's fundamentally three things he's stacking together. It doesn't matter anything he's logically built in life. It's three things he's stacking together. First thing, it's the social proof, aka the ratio. Second thing is he's state pumping. He's elevating emotions. He's the bearer and dispenser of good emotions. And third thing is he's leading a bunch of women around. So he comes across like an authority.
When Ty Lopez does a business networking event, he does these parties at his house. Ty's the guest of honor. I will be at Ty's parties, and everyone there's like, oh, I saw you on Ty's Instagram. You know Ty? I'm like, yeah, I know Ty. Oh, you know Ty? Oh, he's so cool. You know Ty? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, they're like, can you introduce me? I'm like, no. I'm not. Well, why am I going to do that? I'm not going to bring dead weight, right? I'm not bringing dead weight. So from there, Yeah, they all want, and then they get mad at me when I won't introduce them to Ty, by the way, and then they hate me. So then, oh yeah, I remember one really famous social media influencer wanted me to introduce him to Big Mike because he had this like marijuana project, and Big Mike is the top guy in marijuana fertilizer. And I told him, I can't introduce your boy. And he got mad at me. He got real mad at me. I'm like, the reason that me and Mike are cool is I protect him from that. Like, that's the thing that I protect him from. So if I do that, then basically I have one time that I can do that. Like, I can do that one time before his and my relationship is fractured. And it's going to be for your boy? Like, I'm saving that. Like, I don't even know what I'm saving that for. I'm saving for something, but not your boy. But they don't understand that.
Because that guy's not approaching Owen correctly. Owen doesn't know his boy. He doesn't know the value he's bringing. He doesn't know if he can be cool around status. He'd have to have a screening process, and it shows that his friend is uncalibrated in trying to bring that connection to big.
How could that guy have got to meet Mike? Was not hard.
First things first, show that guy's social media profile.
Guys.
That's where it starts.
Guys.
It's always pre-selection.
Really none of you have any ideas at all about how he could have done it? You got nothing.
Having like a competitive specialization in your life somehow, whether it's your own parameter.
Yeah, that would be good if you happen to have it. What if you don't even have it? That'd be great if you have it. But what if you don't have it?
Charisma and humor.
Charisma's good, but the problem is there's still too many people.
You can introduce your friend to somebody that he needs.
Helps a bit.
Come around with a lot of hot girls.
What would be the easiest way to be at dinner with me tonight?
Have an awesome dinner party and invite you.
It's rough, bro, because still I got too many. So what is the way to do dinner with me tonight?
Unique value proposition.
Look at the back of the room. That's how you get to dinner with me tonight. How do they're doing a lot of work, but I get the attention. How do they feel? They're doing a ton I'm here doing the work too. I'm out here working. What, just because I'm back here and no one is sitting up front, they get the shine? So what do you do?
Contribute.
I mean, this is what I've done with almost every, not every, but so many of my connections, right? So when I took Mysteries boot camp, I wanted to make friends with this guy. I don't want to just be, I don't want to just take a boot camp one time. I want to be his friend. So how did I make friends with him?
Provided value to him.
I helped out eventually, but he still said no to that. I'm like, I'll come help you. He's like, I don't need help. So how did I make friends with him?
Earn distrust.
Guys, there's always the under-respected side guys, okay? So the thing is that my team here I'm with all the time. I'm with them all the time. How easy is it to make friends with a team who's frustrated that they're putting in the same amount of work, but they don't get the shine? How easy to make friends with them? Super fucking easy. So you just go in, and you're like, man, you know who's Owen's up there talking all this stuff, but you know who really runs the show? You, right? They're kidding. They're my friends. I'm just clowning them. But the point is, like, right? But that's kind of a bit of the vibe, right? Then you make really, really great friends with them, and then they just bring you out to dinner. Now, when you come to dinner, pretend you don't know me. Never admit you watch my stuff. Never. Then what you do is you joke around, and then make sure that you've got your social media dialed in, you've got your communication dialed in, you're not needy, you've got cool things going on. And then invite the other people, but not me. Okay? Invite the other. I was friends with this guy named Number 9 that was Mystery's right-hand man. And I love Number 9. His real name is Will. I'd invite Will. I'd drive up to Toronto from Kingston, and I would invite Will out. We're going out. Mystery would be there, and I'd ignore Mystery. Because I knew I can't talk to this guy. There's no talking to this guy. So you're not talking to him. You're not talking to him, okay? So I understood that I'm not talking to him. So he'd be like, hey, Owen, good to see you, man. How you been since the program? Bro, amazing. Changed my life. Really changed my life. It's actually where we're headed out right now, man. Hey, have a great night, brother. Great to see you. Out, right? Do that a couple times. Will comes back. Dude, Owen's crushing it. And by the way, even if my skill set wasn't that great then compared to them, what I can do is I can be an approach machine, and I can have a good attitude. So remember that's how you become the protege, right? You become the up-and-coming star because, repeat this after me, never complain, never needy, never entitled, taking massive action, super positive attitude. Yeah, that's how you do it. Now, the second you get needy one time, the second you're entitled one time, the second you're demanding one time, the second you take a fucking photo, all that shit dead, dead, dead. Okay, that's like you're the hot girl, like, could I get your photo? Like, stop it, bro. Do you want the photo or do you want to be your girlfriend? Okay, do you want to be your baby mom or you want the photo? You got to pick. So, okay, got to pick, guys. Why can't you just take a photo? Because it's autopilot responses. You're hitting into a wall of autopilot. These people can barely get through their day without people stopping them all the time. So they've developed an autopilot for what? What's their autopilot there to do? To survive. To survive. Say that. Survive. To survive. They can't survive if they don't just automatically just discharge, block to get through their day. So don't elicit the autopilot. So then what I did, me and Will would go out, and I think I tried like a bunch of times. He would never come out. I was like, this guy's going to come out one of these days, okay? So then eventually he comes out. I was like, oh shit, he finally fucking came. I've now driven like 3 hours each time, try to get him to come out. By the way, can you see why people talk shit when they don't get what they want? Imagine if I was like most people, I've driven there 5-6 times, I've tried to be friends with them, but friend is friend, put in all that work, and I didn't get what I want. What would a lot of people do if they don't get what they want after all that? Talk shit, right? Well, hey, I had a photo with him. Hey, I knew Mystery. He's a jerk and a dickhead. Pay attention to me, right? And that's what a lot of people do because they're frustrated. They couldn't get what they want. It's like guys don't get to fuck the girl, and they're like, and then they show, look, I have a photo with her. I used to date her, but they never dated her because they're mad because they put in the time it didn't work. And that's why they have wall swords, and that's why they have protectors, and they have gatekeepers and all that. So then what happened is eventually he came out. Now, the night that he came out, I'm like, man, I'm going balls to the wall. I can't control the reactions that I get, but I can control that I'm the most positive, fun version of myself that I can be. I can laugh, and then later we go for dinner, I think it's some Chinese place, and I'm just cracking jokes, and I'm approaching people, and I'm making sure to ignore him. Okay? Ignore. Who did I learn that from? Mystery, okay? So, ignore the target, he would say, right? So then eventually, hey, Owen, like this, hey, you could come out and help out in trading sometime. Oh, thank you, man. I'm busy coming up, but I definitely want to make it up, right? So it's always like you have to have your own value, right? Now, look, if I'm playing his thing where I'm just trying to learn from him, which I was desperately, by the way, so bad, so bad, okay? I wanted so bad. But the thing, like, more than you can say, okay? But the thing is, if you show that, now you're the creeper. So, in other words, I've got to be like, I have fun back in Kingston. I have the most badass college parties. I'm doing parties in Kingston. I don't have time to come up here. I'm working on my degree. It's always that you're too busy, you're too cool, there's fun stuff going on, but it can't be like you're talking about it too much. Because if you talk about it too much, what's that look like? You're trying too hard. So it's got to kind of come out naturally, kind of like you just have good vibes, and then that kind of makes them curious, so they ask questions, and then sometimes you don't even answer the question right away. You're like, if they say, hey, where do you work? You might say, I work at Taco Bell. Right? You're some super badass cool dude. Obviously, you don't work at Taco Bell, right? But you go, I work at Taco Bell. Like, come on, where do you really work? They got to kind of get it out of you. So now that dynamic's occurring, and your value is going up and up and up. And that's how you start getting your first major contacts. That's how you start hanging out with the big boys. And also, by the way, women social proof you, yeah, but you know who else social proofs you to women? Actually, men. Higher level men. I remember I took a photo with a bunch of high level dudes this one time at one of Ty's parties. Man, I got a lot of DMs from that. Holy shit. Months of fucking DM because that stupid ass photo got posted with me with 5 dudes. I'm with 5 dudes I'm getting hit up because they're like, wait, he's in that group? Oh, he's one of them? And then you start getting hit up. So again, it's not that I'm more attractive than you. I just got in the photo with 5 dudes, right? But I understood how it works. Now, let's circle back to the baseline level communication. A guy, I mentioned him in my last video, and this will probably be the last time I mention him. There's a guy who I think is really good at communication named Roman Royale. You could look him up. He's just a really good communicator. So find the reels. Don't DM him like a fucking weirdo. Just check out his profile. He's a great guy. So what do you see when he is squeezing a lemon? You see any videos of him squeezing a lemon? Look up the video. Find the video of him squeezing a lemon. What are you noticing in his reels? What is the commonality in his reels? If you could break it down to one big thing, what is in his reels? I'd say this. Totally happy in his own company. Absolutely happy in his own company. Do you guys see the reel with the lemons? Keep digging down. You'll find it. Do you guys see reels of him dancing, hanging out with friends? How big is his smile? This guy's only like 5'7". He probably weighs 120 pounds. (5'7", 120 pounds. I would say the most in-demand guy in all of LA. And these dumb fucks endlessly complain about you need looks and money to be popular. And a 120-pound, 5'7" guy with a lemon. Okay? With a fucking lemon is stunting on you. You're being stunted on by a 5'4" Indian kid and a man with a lemon. Okay, so look. You'll see a video in there where he's squeezing a lemon, and he's like, it's like he's on Molly looking at the fucking lemon. Every single reel is him having fun by himself. It's completely clear I don't need anybody else to have fun. So your base level communication is always, I don't need anyone else to have fun. Now, by the way, here's what's cool about that. You know what's kind of cool about that? You know what I think is kind of special about that? You know what that calls upon you to do? You know what it calls upon you to do?
Love yourself.
To love yourself. To actually start to enjoy yourself. What's the pattern most men are in regarding status, women, money?
Resistance.
Emptiness. Looking to be filled. Looking for someone else's energy to pour into them. You would date someone and they'd feel shittier and you'd feel better. They'd feel shittier, you'd feel better. It's like water and wine. Your vibe and their vibe would mix. They'd feel shittier, you'd feel better. So everything about your energy should show, no. If you're with me, you network with me, date me, whatever, you will feel better. Actually, I might feel shittier. I might be the loser in this equation, and you'd be the winner. Everything about how you're communicating has to show that. And it's not about faking it. So what kind of process might you go through at a core level to get this down? It's really a process. It's a very beautiful, beautiful process of self-discovery, of work, of transformation. What would that look like? What would that process look like?
Auditing how you spend your time.
Auditing how you spend your time? Absolutely. What else? Living in different places, goals. What else? Trauma healing. What else? Meditate. What else? Yeah, I think they're all great answers. I think you know another one, Roman soon? Just having some goddamn gratitude for your fucking life. Yeah, it's just a lemon. You know what? Still pretty cool ass lemon. Right? You can choose to actively control your state. You can choose how much value you take out of a situation. That's why gratitude is the number one spiritual principle. Right? You connect to God via gratitude. So he has gratitude is what he's showing. He's like, look, he's not saying I don't need you because you suck and I'm awesome. He's just saying I'm connected to my, I don't know how he sees it. I can't speak for the guy, but maybe I'm connected to my creator. I'm connected to my gratitude. I'm connected to my abundance. I'm a source of energy, right? Now, I want to put it in context. I've never seen a guy more popular in my life in LA. Never. 5'7", 120 pounds. I don't know his exact weight, but I'm just guessing. Okay? Always laughing, always having fun. And when you talk to women, they're like, I was with him. We went out. Like, I'm his friend. Like, they brag about it. They compete to get his attention. So everything in his internals is dialed in, okay? So I've made a lot of other content about how to dial in your internals. Sometimes I call it the 3 Ps or the 5 Ps. Repeat this after me. Presence. So that's learned from meditation, Eckhart Tolle, Power of Now, Christianity, wherever you want to learn it, okay? The next one is process orientation. Say that. Okay, that's in the Bhagavad Gita. It means you're not entitled to the fruit of the action. You're only entitled to the action itself. And you go into a blissful state when you just enjoy the process. Dancing, singing, having fun, joking, the love of process, okay? Another one, say positive life. So that means actually curating a positive life. Another one, say the word perspective. Okay, by the way, a mentally strong person has a perspective that you'd want to learn from. They have a view towards life that makes them strong. One of the moments I'm very proud of, I was in a wheelchair for half a year, and when I got injured, I didn't complain the whole time to the doctors and nurses. I knew that was the only thing I was in control. They were all shocked because I was in rough shape, real bad. but I just laughed and had fun, and I focused on making them laugh rather than being a drain on them, because I knew that was probably the only thing I could practice for the next couple months. So that's what I did. And it was real tough. And I did a pretty good job. Here or there cracked because it was agonizing, but pretty good. Pretty proud. I could show you video footage of like the nurses and stuff like looking freaked out. They're like, is he okay? Like, why is he okay with this, right? But that's a healthy perspective. That's a strong mind. So having a mind that doesn't get down and mad at yourself and negative and value chasing and stuff like that, right? And you know how to, repeat this after me, you know how to cycle the energy through your own body. So you're able to cycle the energy through your own body by not chasing other people for energy, but it's a combination of like you're very present, process-oriented, you like to dance, sing, joke, have fun, see cool things, have a positive life, have a cool perspective. You can just really cycle the energy in your own body to where you generate your own light. It's beautiful. And, so if you could do that, now you've got that down. Then what you study is the actual communication, vocal projection, body language, cadence, tonality, things like frame control of being in your own frame and drawing other people in your frame, looking at where you have unique value, et cetera, et cetera. So you start looking at all that stuff, right? So you go there. Now you've got your communication down. Now you've got your internals dialed, and you've got your outer game dialed. Okay? Then you look at your offer and your social media pipeline and your container events. Okay? So in other words, if you meet somebody out, you should know exactly what your Instagram story is going to look like. In the future, will be some other social media medium. Meta's called that for a reason. Metaverse, whatever the fucking weird shit we're in. Okay? So you have that dialed in. Then you have, then you know what cool things that you're doing. By the way, you know what it comes down to when you just do cool things? It means that you're adding to the community, not drawing away from it, not sucking off it, right? Like, hey, I'm adding something. I'm doing a cool event. I'm adding something to the mix here. I'm going to do a cool event that from my perspective would be fun, and y'all are invited. The right people. So I'm curating it, right? So you're actually putting in a little bit of effort, right?
In here, does that almost seem like a little bit of a scary thing to like play host for the first time? Yeah, and for the same way you step into a business and you're like forced to be the leader, it's like stepping into an environment, a social environment, and you're forced to be host. But it's one of those things that it's like you're used to going out to nightclubs, you're used to going out to bars, you're used to going out to all this stuff. I'm not saying it's necessarily taking from society, but you're not really understanding what goes into a bar, what goes into a nightclub, what goes into a community event, what goes into a networking event, all the processes, the systems behind it. Once you play host for the first time, it's what was amazing to me was how when I would go home at night and I'd sleep, my brain was just buzzing. I've never experienced highs like that till this day because there is something to, like, I curate, it's almost like a business. I curated this value and now it's out into the environment. Nobody made me do this. I created this event and now it's out in the environment. Nobody made me do this. And those people that came to your event, girls, guys, whatever, they carry that vibe with them and it's a good memory anchor for them and they attach that positive memory now to you. And it's a massive upward spiral.
And the line there is called he shifted from consumer to creator. You guys see that? Value taker to value giver.
You got to see what that actually feels like in your brain when you're giving value versus taking. See, and a lot of times we're afraid to play host. What are some of the reasons we're afraid to play host? Well, maybe you're just used to communicating in a very one-track way of like going out to places and even just approaching all the time. Now let's switch it up. Let's actually have things be easier for you. When you're playing host, it's actually training a part of your brain to make things easier, not harder. Why do we want to play host? Because we want to have all the results. We don't want to just be playing in sniper mode. And when we play from that position, you have to now be comfortable with your own adrenaline, the emotions that pop up, of people are going to be looking up to you. Like, who am I if people come up to me at this party and want my time and attention? You'll begin having an existential crisis sometimes. You won't even know who you are. Because you're used to socializing in a certain way and not being the high status one. All of a sudden when that dynamic shifts and you become this mini celebrity in that environment, it forces you to confront that part of yourself. Like, okay, no, this is happening. breathe, everything's cool. Girls are coming up to me, breathe, everything's cool. Guys think I'm really cool, breathe, everything's cool. You know what I mean? You go out to an environment where you don't know anybody and you're approaching them. Well, what's amazing about that is it trains persuasion, it trains you to deal with emotion, it trains you to deal with rejection. But that is limited. You're always going to be limited by the environment you're in. Somebody might go up to you when you approach them out of an environment and you approach them cold, and they'll harshly reject you. Does that mean you're that bad? No. Of course not. It's also just the fact that maybe you don't even know what happened in that person's life. They don't know you. How can somebody reject you if they don't actually know you? They have what? The thinnest slice of your personality they saw? How are they going to reject you? It doesn't do anything to the core of who you are. As soon as you move into host mode, now everybody's putting you on this pedestal, and you have this realization, I'm actually not that great. So it's like human beings are seeing like amazing, or they're seeing you like shit, depending on the environment that they're seeing you in and the setup that was there. Doesn't mean so it's like the watch. Is the Patek watch actually kind of cool if it's stainless steel? Yeah, it can be cool. Is it $100,000 amazing? Probably not. If you actually, it's not. But if you actually look at the utility side of it, is it $100,000 amazing for a stainless steel piece of shit? Of course not. But is it? If you actually were going to use it for the utility of it, could it be cool? It could be. So it's not. So people's perception is actually quite volatile. It's always changing. It's always changing. This is just human nature that you need to accept. And if somebody's a marketer, they accept that people have low-level drives. If you are somebody that wants social results, accept that people have low-level animalistic type drives. Just play the game the way the game is played. Just play the game to win, which means just accepting reality, and that means accepting human nature the way that it is.
Yeah, by the way, some of the most enlightened people in the world are people that learn about attraction or people that learn about direct response marketing, because it's one thing just to go to, and this is great too, but it's one thing just to go to an ashram and just sit at the feet of the guru and breathe and learn to meditate for a whole meditation retreat. Sid does regular long meditation retreats, by the way, very long. But it's a whole other thing to study marketing where you're actually studying all the animalistic and egotistical parts of the brain. And so what happens is that you see every part of you that's not present and needy and kind of low level and pathetic. And you learn that unless you actually speak directly to that in the person, basically like the reptilian brain, that they never buy, they never date you, they never do anything, and that they'll buy horrible, shitty products and date horrible, shitty people that just kind of, communicate to that part of them.
They just want raw carrot dangled in front of the DNA, and they want that result fast. That's all it is. How could they metaphorically push a button, they get all the sexual results, all the material results, all the status, all the validation? If you can really figure that equation out, that's really what they want.
But what happens is that in studying that, John Carlton, one of my great marketing mentors, has a book called Kick-Ass Copywriting Secrets of a Marketing Rebel. And the last chapter, after he basically spends 100 pages, whatever it is, drilling down on all of people's pathetically dumb, emotional, knee-jerk responses that a sales copy ad has, he then proceeds to give this really uplifting final chapter where it's that all this shit is so dumb. And he gives this analogy where he says that he was he was consulting for a guy who owns 20 car dealerships or something like that, right? And it's a beautiful day in Florida and wind's in their hair and it's just such a great day, but all this fucker could talk about is owning his 21st car dealership. And he realized that, a big part of life is just to enjoy the day, enjoy the breeze. John Carlton himself takes off about half the year to just go travel, I think on a motorcycle, and just plays in bands in local bars. So he himself knows how dumb these drives are. But ironically, you can become more spiritual by being a marketer or by learning about attraction, because it forces you to take this PhD level course in what other people respond to. And what happens is at first you're mad that other people respond to that. Later, you realize that you responded to all the same shit, and later you learn to forgive other people, and then later you learn to forgive yourself.
It gives you the realization that human beings may not be the fairies that we think they are. That's the big realization.
But to love them anyway.
And then to understand that whatever high vibe or high consciousness behaviors you want to elicit out of a human being the skeleton of relating to their DNA has to be there.
Maslow's hierarchy.
Otherwise you'll never get the higher vibe side of them.
Yeah,
Out of dating, out of business relationships, out of anything, what is the structure or the setup that person is playing in? That is what matters first.
Yeah, do you guys, also I want to circle back, this is very key. Do you remember I said earlier that when you're at a higher level and other people do weird, like sketchy shit, you're not mad at them, you don't hate them, you actually still even have love for them, but just realize that they're kind of stuck in a loop? Does that make sense? Yeah. Well, because what happens is you learn about sales and marketing, or you learn about attraction, and the way that you learn about it is by studying at a PhD level every weird little mechanism that people respond to, right? Then what happens, like I said, is that you start to get jaded. You feel black-pilled because you're like, is this all there is? This is too, it's almost like they say, if you stare at the abyss too long, you become the abyss. So it starts to freak you out. You start getting mad. And then the next step is, it's like Jesus said, don't judge the chip in your brother's eye, yet when you have a plank in your own eye, you hypocrite. You're like, wait a minute, I'm the same. Holy shit, I have RAS flips. Holy shit, I'm fucking petty. Holy shit, I want a bunch of dumb shit. I respond to a bunch of dumb shit too. And then you start to hate yourself. So at first you're mad at them, then you're mad at yourself, and then what happens, and Christianity talks about this, you find forgiveness. You say, you know what? This world is still a very physical world, and it's really incumbent on us to wake up the world spiritually. And that's part of becoming, as they would say, a fisher of men and so on and so forth, and waking up the world and having that human awakening project side of you. But you realize that the world kind of is asleep, and you see that part of yourself that's asleep, right? So by the way, until you've had a real study of how unconscious the people that you're marketing to or dating are, you probably can't see it in yourself, because it's too painful to look at it directly in yourself. But when you see it like in your friends, the people you're dating, the people you're doing business with, finally you're like, wait a minute, okay. You're like, maybe that's me too. Then you hate yourself, right? You're mad at yourself. You're like, wow, I'm so limited. I'm so small and petty. But then what happens is that you realize that it's just that the world is having a spiritual crisis, and you start to forgive people because the only path to self-forgiveness is forgiving them. And then what happens is you get to a place where you forgive them, which allows you to forgive yourself. And then when you see other people acting sketchy, you're not mad at them. You just realize that they're in an earlier phase of development. And like if you're in Montana and you see a wolf or a bison, you love that creature. It's still a creation of God. But you know that you shouldn't get poked by it, right? Like maybe even when that grizzly goes by, don't get out of the car, or maybe have some spray. So when you're at a high level, that's kind of how you're seeing people that have not taken that journey. It's not that you see them like a beautiful animal. It's like this human is a beautiful animal. I have love for them, but I understand that they have their ecosystem. And guys, what happens when you feed the bears? Does that help the bear?
No.
What's it do to the bear? It fucks them up. Yeah. Because that bear is at a phase of it in its evolution that it's got to go hunt, and it's in a certain level, right? And so if you feed that bear, you'll fuck him up. So if you invite that lower level friend to a higher level party, that's like feeding the bear. It's not helping them. All that it's doing is taking a more primitive incarnation and just giving a bunch of meat and confusing it about how it goes about their life. They've got to work. They've got to hit certain pain points that you've got to let them hit, just like your kids. You got to let them hit certain pain points. You got to let them take certain lessons. You've got to let them take rejections. You've got to let them get mad at the world because the world's victimizing them and the world's hard, and they've got to go through that phase and eventually hit phases in their growth of taking ownership and getting out of victim consciousness. Then they've got to realize that they're run by their ego. They've got to learn to become present. They've got to realize that the world is not affecting their state and that they're in control of their own state. They've got to realize that their income isn't limited because the world's against them, but because they're lazy. And they've got to go through all these realizations to come out the other side of it. Most of you are in that state now. Most of you guys are in that state now. Okay, again, if you're going, oh, those people, are you loaded? Because I want to be clear here. It's very easy to have a great dating life. It takes almost no effort at all. It's very easy to have a lot of money. It takes very little effort. You'd be like, it's hard. It's really not hard, okay? Do you know why it's hard? Do you remember I said earlier, if you see someone who's very attractive, it's actually easier to attract someone who's highly attractive than someone who's average. But what's hard about it?
Just your own psychology.
The most stunning person you've ever seen is easier to attract than someone average. But why is it that it's harder for the average person, including you? Because you have too much emotional reactivity to it. They would actually respond more if you just act normal. Money's the same thing. Money's very easy to make, but if I go into your guys' search history, if I were to go into all your guys' search history right now on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Would I find a bunch of Alex Hormozy videos there and product development videos? Or would I find, well, good for you, maybe you'll get there. But the point is, most of you guys, I'd find a bunch of dumb shit. Okay, then I see how much dumb shit you're putting in your body, how much time you're wasting. It's not that making money's hard, it's that you're in this weird miasma that you can't get out of. You can't lock in and focus. If all your friends were at a higher level, you'd gravitate to that. But you're unfortunately in this weird miasma of fucking idiots. I'm kidding. But basically you're in this miasma of people that are less developed. And so you're just not around that. That's also, by the way, why you want to get around better people. Even just being in the seminar is probably getting you to raise your standards a bit, right? Just by being around it, right? So you can see why you want to get around better people. They have better standards, they have a better relationship to time, and so on and so forth. You can have these transformations. But you'll realize that basically to get the average person around something that is higher level, it's like feeding a wild animal. It's just fucking them up. They've got to go through their evolution. So you don't hate them. You just understand that they're not ready for that yet. And you know, and by the way, you're not arrogant because you're like, this guy here who's kind of fucked up, when I'm 68 and I'm kind of old, or maybe 70s or 80s, whatever, and I'm unraveling, that guy might be peaking. That guy might be coming into his flow. That guy might be coming into his power. So I don't judge anybody. I'm just like, yeah, it's just not there yet. I'm not where I want to be yet. I've got flaws. I've got things I'm working on. Everybody's got things they're working on. So you're not judging them. You just know that they're not ready yet. And you know that, just like when, you ever seen a video when a bear comes up and it's like, and you think it's your friend, you're like, it's my friend the bear. Okay? It's my grizzly bear friend, right? And you see it jump on the person and kill them, right? You ever see, there was an old like thing that was viral where it talked about this woman who had a pet snake, and she thought she was cuddling with the pet snake. And the pet snake was actually lying beside her and stretching out to see if it could fit her in its stomach, okay? Now, by the way, it turned out to be a false meme. It wasn't true. But it was believable because the lesson inherent in that, why it was believable, is that when someone's in a more primitive state, they can't be cool with you. They're in a primitive state. They are responsive to with humans, it's their ego, emotional addictions, success barriers, lack of integrity, lack of ability to play fair. They're not there yet. They haven't reached a point where, you know, their integrity is more important than fucking somebody over and getting the immediate cookie. And now they'll think they are, but their brain will deceive them with an RAS flip. They're not there yet. So, you know, somebody who's operating at a high level has like figured out the importance of integrity, doing what they say they're going to do, not trashing people, not trashing people behind their back, not judging people, walking the narrow road where you don't focus on a million things, but you just focus on the 5 or 6 things that'll make you money, make you happy, and expand your life and expand the life of others and leave a legacy. You've locked in on that, right? So you've got around people that are like that too, like-minded people that are reinforcing that frame in you. There's transfers of energy, there's synergy, and then you're doing that too, right? It's a journey of transformation where you wind up seeing more nature, you wind up traveling more, having more fun, having more money, having, I don't want to say unlimited money, but having more money than you know what to do with. You're not worried about money. You know, having more people who you could date than you know what to do with, so you're not worried about dating. Having access to really healthy, expensive supplements and food. Having access to forward-thinking medical treatments. Being able to send your kids to the best schools. Being around better people. Having areas of expertise that you're passionate about, that you have a craft that you cultivate proactively. Something like a free tour like this I can do because I have the resources to do it. A lot of people don't realize that. It takes a lot of resources to go do a free tour, particularly in smaller cities, right? I'll go to a place like Detroit and do a free tour there. How profitable do you think the Detroit free tour is? Okay? I mean, you're lucky not to get shot out there. But it's a beautiful city, and it's a beautiful city. I want to bring my kids. They've got a great car museum. They got this really cool little village my kids visit. So, and I also want them to see poverty, so I went there. But it was also beautiful for me to go there, and it was a beautiful moment. But that takes money, guys, okay? It takes money. So also, another big one is guys will say to me, well, if you have money, like, why do you ever sell anything? You also have to have cultivated not a codependent mentality where you don't value yourself and you cultivate win-win. It doesn't mean that you're a fucking martyr and inviting all these people to leech off you and suck you dry till death, till you're an emptied out husk, okay? So, just because you have a great dating life doesn't mean that you just, buy every woman a beer and just like, buy every woman dinners and fucking let them all leech you and all that kind of stuff. So I've had that codependent mentality when I was younger, learning to give more value, but it was from a codependent space. Whenever people see me doing sales, I think there's people in that room that actually admire that because they're like, wait a minute, he doesn't have a codependent relationship to approval, and he doesn't give a shit if someone doesn't like it. So I actually do that. It's funny, like I'll tell people, hey, maybe the thing that you should learn from me is how to make a fucking sale, because that's called valuing yourself and not having sales anxiety and poverty consciousness. But still, it's about always giving more than you took and making sure that people got, 100x of value off whatever it is that you sold. So when you die, you created more than you took, and that's part of your pride, but that doesn't mean to be fucking leeched off of and to be a bitch. So it's a combination of that, right? It's a healthy relationship to giving and taking, a healthy version of it, okay? Healthy, not a codependent. And it's always people that are like leeches that try to bait you back into being codependent. I remember once Jeff had a product, and people started, Jeff never had a product before. He worked for years, never had a digital product come out. And people hit me up, they're like, you're making him like you, one of those guys that sells things. I like it when he doesn't sell. I'm like, this guy's been working for 5 years before he put out this Jeffy Show product. And like, why do you want poverty for Jeff? Like, if you have love for Jeff, why do you want poverty? But they want to relate with him because crab's in a bucket. They couldn't handle that he'd actually worked for years on it, put money, invested into it, and was giving something amazing that people were happy with, but they couldn't handle that. And your friends a lot of time, when you actually start making money, they get mad that you actually make money. And then they try to associate you to a leech as opposed to someone who's giving more than you take. So there's a lot of personal transformation work that's happening to get to the point where life's very easy. But the end result is life's very easy, okay? You ever play an open world video game and you beat the shit out of it, and you got all the armor, you got all the little weapons and all the little spells and all that kind of stuff. You learn how to beat all the different enemies, you memorize the open world, and it almost gets boring because you're so good at playing that video game? That's what I teach. Okay? That's what I teach. Watch me in a club. You know what it looks like? It kind of looks like that little dickhead kid that played way too much pool and just cleans the table. That's me in a club. That's me public speaking. That's me making money. That's me doing products. That's me doing all the areas I care about. Okay? I'm a guy who understood how to play the video game, and I understood all the little mechanics of the mind and the spirit and all the little ego parts and all the little work parts and all the different mechanisms. I just played around with it. I made it my job, and then I share how to do it. That's really what it is that I did. It's just learning how to play the video game and not having limiting beliefs where you're like, I could never do this, that could never be me. But rather, what it is rather than saying this can't be me and I could never actually do this, saying no, life is a video game. I could learn how to play it better. Okay? And the cool thing is, once you hit a point where you've got all that cash and all those options, I think that's kind of like when life starts. You know how they tell you like the real people are the broke people. That's the real people. What a crock of shit. I think a lot of those people are actually in animalistic consciousness. A lot of them are great people too. I love everybody, but you know my point. So what it actually is, let me give an example. Okay, how much do you think it pisses me off when I see people that don't wake the fuck up? It actually makes me sad that people won't do it, okay? But here's what I have personally found. I believe that I have done more to try to wake people up and help random people than, and this will be arrogant as fuck, but I'll just say my truth. I believe it's more than all you guys combined. I probably have some weird codependent people-pleasing disorder. I don't know what the fuck's wrong with me, or if it's just the fucking Christianity in my blood. And I'm not sure if it's literally because my great-grandfather was a Christian minister. So I don't know if it's just the fucking Christian spirit in my blood that runs so deep because I resonate with Christianity so hard. It's like crazy. Like I just fuck with it so heavy. Like I read that shit and I start having like hallucinations and stuff. It's crazy. So I don't know if it's the Christian spirit in my blood or if it's like something that my parents did to me. Okay? And it's like a need to help people. It's like people pleasing. I can't tell which it is. I've literally read all about people pleasing tendency because I'm like, why do I care about this so much? But what I've learned is the epiphany that I've had is people are ready when they're ready. Okay, people are ready when they're ready. So the way that I do it, let me show you my system for how I do this, okay? So I'll do free videos and I'll do free events, free groups, things like that, right? And I do that to try to knock some people off the fence and show them something fucking cool. But when I do that, if I just get bled out, is that sustainable? No. So I don't do a ton of sales at these events. You guys are aware you've been here all day. I'm not selling anything. But I'll do a touch of sales at an event usually to cover the cost of venue. That's about it. And I'd be happy to tell you if I'm banking, because I wouldn't be ashamed of it. I'm banking in many other areas, by the way. But what I do is I do a free event, but I got to get mine too. So what do you guys think is me getting mine when I do a free event? What's mine? What's my selfish? Don't give me this philanthropy shit. What's me getting mine?
An audience.
If I
We
have,
were just talking about spiritually awakening us.
what's that?
We were just talking about spiritually.
But the problem, look, here's the thing. If you put me on a lie detector test, I predict that if you said, Owen, how much you care about money, how much you care about spiritually awakening your audience, it'd be like 98% waking you guys up and about 2% about money, mostly to sustain my expenses. But the problem is, if I tell you that, then A, I'm engaging you as a codependent by saying, suck off of me, bleed me dry. It's actually unhealthy. It's not healthy to say that to you. I should get you a chance to make it a win-win too. I should treat you like some bitch, okay? So just being a philanthropist is to some extent treating people with pity. But in addition, it's also teaching you to be a codependent. Do you see what I'm saying? It's teaching you should also be some weird codependent as well. Right. And then you're gonna go bankrupt. You're going to go bankrupt. So for example, like I run crazy parties, but whenever I go out, I will do something called hammer it out to the bitter end. And my fans randomly will see me out at like 3 a.m, just keep saying hi to people. And they're like, damn, like you go hard. I thought you run all these parties. Like, why are you out here going hard? I'm trying to be a role model. So in a weird way, if I just go, give, that's not a role model to you, because that's telling you to get bled out.
You're transferring sales anxiety.
I'd be transferring sales anxiety, codependence, low self-worth onto you. So the point being though, so even though, look, if you're there to help people, then just fucking help them and shut the fuck up. So if I'm gonna help you, I'm just gonna help you shut the fuck up. But what I want you to see is what I'm getting. So what am I selfishly getting when I do free events? I've done free events for years.
Practice. Long-term customers that could have a long upside.
I do get long-term customers, but also say, there's kind of a reason Grant Cardone doesn't do the free tour. Okay, you can make a lot more money doing scalable systems, not flying to Detroit. So what is my, I get a big payoff from it. So don't make me a martyr, okay? I'm not a martyr. What's my selfish payoff from doing an event in Detroit? Or like the South, okay?
Tax write.
I get videos, okay, I get videos. So I'll start with this. I get videos, right? Now, so I have a video, right? Now, when I do a paid program, I don't free associate like this. What you're seeing here is what's called a free associate speech. I'm gonna teach you how to do that this weekend too. This is a free associate speech. I would never charge money for an unplanned extemporaneous rant, okay? Because sometimes guys will see my stuff online, they're like, when does this guy like teach the actual content? I'm like, this is like a one-man podcast talking to an audience. This is not meant to be my course. Guys, who here has ever seen Blueprint Reloaded? Who here has ever seen that? How structured and dense is Blueprint Reloaded?
Very.
I mean, that is like on point, laid out. Have you guys ever seen Hot Seat? Yeah. How structured and laid out is Hot Seat? Okay, Blueprint Decoded, how structured and laid out is that? That took me 5 years to perfect the outline on a 20-hour seminar. So when I'm doing a course, I don't come here and me and Sid tag team it and rant. When I do a course, it's a pre-planned course of our best content, really of kind of like a stand-up comedian where I come in here, I test different bits. I'm like mud, throw, mud, throw, mud, throw, mud, throw. I'm throwing mud at the wall. And out of this whole 3-hour thing, I might get 5 minutes out of it. My favorite analogy here was the don't feed the bears one. That was my favorite. That's what I'm gonna keep. So, right? That could go in the program somewhere. Where are you feeding the bears? Then do an exercise on it. So the point being is that analogy comes from the hyper creative state. You'll notice in my free associate public speaking, I tend to rant very fast in a slightly manic state. But in Blueprint Decoded, I'm talking slower. Well, that's because in Blueprint Decoded, I had a PowerPoint and I was taking people through gradually point by point. I also don't talk this fast always in real life. But why at a free event like this, when there's no plan, am I talking a bit fast and I'm slightly manic? What kind of state am I in when I'm here? Hyper creative, right? So I'm initiating a lightly manic state. There's a book about that called The Hypomanic Edge. When you basically want to unleash a lightly manic state. This generates massive in the spot creativity, massive lateral thinking. It's almost psychedelic. I don't do psychedelics, so that's my version of psychedelics is speech and nature. And going out. And so what happens is I get in here, I go in a slightly manic state because look, if I slow down and I'm not like this, imagine how hard it would be to just be coming up with all this. Like Yeah. And then, right, do you see what I'm saying? Yeah. So what am I initiating in my brain when I'm doing a free associative speech? Creativity. Right, so by the way, if you've ever seen someone that suffers from mania, it's called, what's that called in mania? What's the word for that? Bipolar. Come on, yeah, bipolar, right? It's really sad. They'll call you up and they'll be having like epiphany, and some of them are genius. Then the epiphanies get more off the rails and grandiose, and then they get put in a mental hospital. I've known people that had that happen. It's actually really sad. They're cool people. So the hypomanic edge is basically where you have a light version of hypomania, but not so grandiose and narcissistic that you lose touch with reality. So part of my creative process is I come in here, I put myself kind of like hyped. I'm like, whoa, like I've got no plan. I don't even know what I'm gonna say. I kind of almost like channeling it. I'm probably not even like, channeling this, so to speak, but it's almost like channeling it, or who knows. And then what happens, I get, in a hypomanic state, I get creative. This is brain dump, right? Then later, I go through the brain dump. I'm like, what the hell came out? I'm like, what's this bear thing or whatever, right? I look at that, then I pull bits out of it. So one of the things I'm here to do is I'm here to get bits. Like a comedian who does the local comedy show and then does HBO or Showtime. So I get bits. What's the other thing that I get from doing free events? Practice on stage. Why am I a polished public speaker? Okay, anyone here good at F1 racing? Anyone here good at polo? Anyone here own a horse and a mallet? How come no one here is good at polo? How come no one here is good at F1 racing? High barrier to entry. Because you're not going to get race time. It's too expensive. You're not going to get polo field time in a horse barn. It's too expensive. I got an expensive hobby, baby. This is my version of fucking polo. This is my version of F1 racing. I basically just use my business some weird way, fill up a room, and because it's free, no one can get mad. If you guys paid 10 grand to be here, you might be like, could we start the program? Like, this guy's just ranting, right? But for freebie, you get to come meet me, you get to network, you get to learn things. It's really badass, right? It's a great free program. So I do it as a free program in order for me to have no obligation to do what I would teach at a paid training. Paid training is ultra structured, ultra dense, and it's about you. I don't rant on. I'll talk for 3-4 minutes, then I get you doing some work. I give you feedback. I talk another 3-4 minutes. It's like in Blueprint Reloaded, where it's just me like giving exercise a lot. It's a lot of exercise, a lot of field work. That's how I train. So and the other thing that I get is I get unlimited videos in front of crowds, which then if I have a wealthy client, what does that do for me for social proof? So in other words, there might be that one girl that you want to hook up with, but you build a whole party to have social proof for her. There might be that one client that I want. You guys are like the fat chicks so that I can get the one that I want, right? I can get that millionaire client that I want because I'm surrounded by you guys. I have social proof. So I'm getting social, I'm getting creativity, I'm getting new bits, I'm getting practice public speaking, I'm getting high-end clients that see me in a big group, and so on and so forth, right? That's it. That's what I get. So I'm getting a lot out of it. But what I do is, we're going to circle back now, okay? You guys ready to circle back? Remember Trump, he calls it the weave? Ready for me to weave? So here's how I'm not codependent. I want to help y'all. But what I do is to make it sustainable, I get mine too, okay? Now again, a lot of fucking losers will be like, no, you shouldn't get yours too. Guys, that's called being a bled out, codependent fucking loser. No, that's your excuse. I'm not making an excuse, okay? I never said I'm here to get bled out. So from there, I found a way to give, but that I can benefit from as well. But in reality, as great as it is that I got those benefits, guys, my team has done live events in 265 cities, 75 countries around the world. How many free events have we done? How much do we help people? A lot. Okay, we're out here preaching the gospel metaphorically, baby. Sometimes literally. Okay, we're out here evangelizing, right? So think about all those people that we helped, millions of people that we helped. So millions of people got helped, but it became sustainable. If I wasn't getting mine, how angry would I be at what I've done eventually? I'd be bitter. I'd be an emptied out husk. I'd be fucking pissed. I know because I've done that. I played that role. And at the end, you're just emptied out and you're fucking pissed. So I know what it's like to be pissed. You've got to look out for everyone. Who is included with everyone? You got to look out for humanity. Who's included in humanity? Yourself. So it's about, look, in the same way, when you build a party, right? You learn cold approach skills. You learn communication. Learn to fill your own cup. You do a party, you're gonna look, think of all the people that had such a fun time at that party, right? Think how badass that is. All those people had fun at the party. How cool is that? All those people that got to come to your party. People you'll never date, people you'll never make money with, they got to come, right? But you made sure that you met the person you want to date, you made sure that you made the money you want to make, you got yours too. You added more than you ever took, but you made sure that you got yours too. That's not being a bled out codependent. That's you saying, I want to add value, but I want to live a fun life as well. I'm part of humanity, I get a fun life too, right? So there has to be a balance there. And I think the cool thing is like, you can build something where, for example, you go to a bar, you talk to all these people, you lighten up all their night. Maybe the odd person's weird and negative, doesn't want to talk, right? But most of them are like, you lighten up their night. And then you meet that one person you're really into. You wind up dating. So 100 people had a more fun night, and then you met the person you wanted to, right? But it doesn't feel very nice when you go out, 100 people have a fun night, and you don't meet the person you want to date, right? That's not nice. So you want to get it to where you're a closer, okay? And you know how to, there's a word for this. So the word taking and being a taker or a leech, what is that associated to relative to what we're saying here? What's that associated to?
Low value.
What's that?
Low value.
Low value? What is taking associated to? What does it mean to be a taker?
Unfair.
Unfair. What is a taker?
Means you don't got nothing.
By the way, I'm praying that Michael's doing what I asked. Praying. John? Okay, good. Okay. So basically, gotta get mine, right? That's called my breakfast. So, okay, without breakfast, I can't do this, right? So look at this, okay? So, I don't want to learn about meditation. I don't want to learn what it means to be present. I just want to let my brain drag me around. I don't want to consciously take ownership of my state and use active state control. I don't want to learn how to self-amuse. I just want to be tickled and amused by other people. I don't want to learn how to emotionally stabilize myself. I don't want to have a unique one-on-one perspective. I just want to be in the group think and take on other people's perspective. I don't want to learn how to use my voice. I don't want to have to talk that loud. I just want to be myself, the loser, because that's all that I could imagine myself as is a loser. I don't want to have to project my voice. I don't want to have to learn about range of expression. I don't want to have to learn how to tell a cool story. I don't want to learn how to tease and push pull. I don't want to learn how to work a venue. It's scary. I don't want to go out at night. Those people there are losers, not like me. They're all the losers out. They're all the losers, low quality people. But I'm the high quality one because I'm a nice guy. I don't want to have to learn where the venues are. I don't want to have to go out and say hi to people, initiate conversations. I don't want to build a social media. Social media is bad. I don't want to build a social media. I don't want to have to put cool stories up. I just want to take. I don't want to have to do a party or a container event. I don't want to have to network with guys. I don't want to add anything to a rich guy or, I don't want to have to make it where I make friends with the rich guy's friend. I just want to go right to the rich guy. I just want to go right to the rich guy. I don't want to make friends with number 9, Will, to make friends with Mystery. I don't want to have to say that I'm doing cool stuff in Kingston. I don't even want to be doing cool stuff in Kingston. I just want Mystery to come there and just polish my cock. Okay? Because if he says he's a good person, so if he's a good person, he should just benefit me, and I should just leech off of him. I should be a leech. I don't want to add that. Okay, I don't want to be a leech, or I don't want to add anything. He's got me. I thank you. There you go. You're getting it. Okay, I don't want to bring something more to the picnic than my appetite. Right? Say this word after me. You got to bring something more to the picnic. Say that. You got to bring something more to the picnic than your motherfucking appetite. Right? Oh, I just want to have an appetite. I don't want to do all that. I don't want to go build out a video back. I don't want to work on my public speaking. I just want money. I don't want to work on free associate bits and learn how to be a little bit manic. I don't want to learn how to have to do that. I don't want to learn about hypomania and creativity. I just want to have a job just given to me. Hey, thank you so much. I know that really was mine. You felt bad for me, but thank you. Michael, you got me, right? Yeah. Okay, good. Well, how about it? Was this yours actually, David? Tell the truth.
What?
Was this yours?
No.
Oh, this is mine. Okay, I didn't know if I just jacked you. Okay, so I don't know. This is fucking amazing. See? You got to get yours, right? How much better look how much better I sound even now from one sip. You see what I'm saying? You got to get yours, okay? Yeah. But this one sip, look how much better I sound. You guys see that? Right? Look how much better I sound. Yeah, see that? One sip. Okay? So I don't want to do that. You know what I want to take? You know what? She'll think I'm a weirdo if I just want sex. Well, guess what? You said be yourself. You said to be yourself. You said to be yourself. And it's tingly. Right? Okay? So, okay. You see how that be yourself thing is like the best advice and the worst advice? It's like getting to your true core is so amazing. Look how much better I sound with this. And yet, okay, getting your true core is so amazing, but it's like the way for a value leech to justify remaining as a value leech. And the difference between a taker and the capacity to receive is, look, I want to build, I want to add, and I want to make sure that I can. That's not me taking, guys. If I go do a several-hour fucking speech, I take a sip of a drink. It's not a taker. That's called a receive, motherfucker. Okay? So it's what's the ratio? Okay, what do you build? What do you do with that sip? Is your system wired that a sip of some pink mystery drink, knowing Denver is probably has CBD in it, but anyway, better not. But maybe that's what's going on. But anyway, right? By the way, side point there, drugs. Classic example. I want to feel good for $10. That's why I hate that shit. I just want to smoke and feel this. Yeah, I don't want to like save up the money to go to Nepali Coast and have to get a tent. I want to see the Nepali Coast for $10 by swallowing poison. But it's so beautiful the way it transforms you. Bro, there's other things that transform you, okay? There's other, most of the guys that I know that are super psychedelic fans have never been to Nepali Coast. They don't know how to approach. They don't have any money. That's most of what I've seen. Then I've even seen guys that are super rich to get into that shit and they die, including clients of mine. Don't laugh, bro. Sad. Some are public. So that shit will fuck you up, bro. Some satanic shit. Because what is Satanism? Taking at its core. So again, taking versus receiving. Now, let's even circle back a bit more. So let's think to ourselves here, what is the other person's perspective, right? I mean, if you're a woman, okay, this is so funny, right? Men these days are so bitter that women don't want to date average men anymore. They're so bitter about it. But how many of you guys would ever let the average guy that you meet on the street run your life, run your bank account, put it in you? But they don't want y'all putting it in them any more than you want someone put in you. They will want the right person, whereas you don't want anybody. But you know my point. So guys are like, what happened with guys is back in the day you had this thing, it's called the patriarchy. I know, hearing a guy talk about the patriarchy in a way that's not just laughing at it will piss you off. I get that. Guys, be honest, okay? They couldn't vote. They couldn't have a bank. They couldn't get a job. Okay? Okay. It's a deep discussion. But the point is, look, half your ancestors are women, right? Yeah. You may have daughters someday. Yeah. Would you want your daughter to not be able to get a bank account, a job, and to have to basically put up with fucking some dude she's not even horny by? They had no access to getting rid of an STD, so if they fucked a random dude, they probably couldn't get rid of the STD. You just get syphilis, you're just insane or dead. Right? How much casual sex do you want to have if there's no antibiotics, right? From there, okay, you're just fucked. You're like, oh, I'm fucked. Nothing to do. Then from there, then maybe put like a leech on you or something, or drink gasoline or something, trying to get rid of it, like some weird wives' tale. So whatever they did. So like totally, you get put in an insane asylum because you banged the wrong girl. So maybe that happens now too. But anyway, but for a different reason. So couldn't get a job, couldn't get access to a bank, couldn't vote, all this shit, right? So then back, if you had sex with more than like one dude, you got slut shamed, all that. If you got divorced, you're fucked, et cetera, et cetera. You had a kid with a guy and it was out of wedlock, you're fucked. You could never get remarried. So women would put up with average dudes. They would put up with average fucking dudes. But the truth is, the average guy was dumb enough to like work at the car factory or some shit like that, and that's supposed to be the person leading her? There's nothing aspiring there. So nowadays, I mean, if you were to look at what we just talked about here in this segment, okay? This is something that could be handled in about 18 months easy. Like you could get this down in about 18 months, and if you're real smart, real sharp, you do it in about 18 days. But if you're average, you're probably doing like 18 months. Like, what do they really want? Like, could you learn not to be weird, like a weird value taker trying to take my photos? Could you learn how to talk to me without being nervous? Could you learn how to be in your own frame instead of a bitch to society? Could you learn how to have a positive outlook? Could you learn how to have a little bit of swagger or charisma? Could you just put on a cool event so I don't have to be stuck at dinner with some guy I've never met? Could you be smart enough to just build a little bit of a pipeline of cool people in your life so that if I need a doctor, you have a friend who's a doctor because you have friends and connections? Could you figure out how to make a bit of cash? But most guys don't want to do it. They just don't. And then what happens is that they complain. Now the flip side is, though, if I'm being honest, women then want that guy just for themselves. No. So you see where I'm going with this. And I believe in marriage, but I don't believe in this version of marriage. I'm the most pro-marriage person you've ever seen, but this is not marriage, guys, okay? This is a legal gun at your freaking head, metaphorically, and highly dangerous. So I believe in marriage. And if you got a good one, you're married, and there's no friction in a relationship, more power to you. Doesn't mean it's going to go bad. There's great marriages out there, but it's like you don't know until later. So I got friends that are married, they're like 10 years deep. They're like, should I be afraid? I'm like, no, you're 10 years deep. You're good. You and your wife are good. You're fine. But you don't know that till later, so you're gambling. So that's the problem. You can have a great marriage. I got friends with great marriages, fucking amazing marriages. But I would just say that you don't know until later when they have access to half your stuff or more. So it's scary. Those RAS flips are real.
It's really rare too.
Definitely not the norm. But that said, it's also because we allowed society to run the frame back in the day for us, but we never learned how to run it ourselves because we're not taught to. So we're running off of an old playbook, right? We're working off an old playbook. We're like, I got the job, I got the, I'm stable, I got the door, I got the chair, right? I protect and provide. Like, I thought this shit would fucking work, right? It didn't work because you're running off an old playbook. If you knew what the playbook was since you're younger, you wouldn't have a problem doing it. None of this stuff is that hard, guys. I've taught so many people how to do it. It's really easy. You can solve all this bullshit. Because what's going to happen, by the way, here's where we're headed. It's not good. I hate where it's headed, and I'm trying to stop this. The average dude, they're going to get so pissed, and I hate this. I don't want this. I'm trying to fight against. I actually am a little bit progressive in a lot of areas. I think that is awesome that women vote and have jobs and bank accounts and don't feel pressured to date guys they want to date. I like that because I hope to have daughters and I don't want them getting fuck some dude from the car factory who she doesn't like and he has control over her fucking bank. Okay? Maybe you get reincarnated as a woman. Okay? There's a social thought experiment called The Veil of Ignorance by John Rawls. Look it up. Imagine you don't know how you'll be born. You want to be born in that shit? Fuck that. So I'm not trying to be like, we revoke your ability to have a bank account. Like, that's crazy. But what's going to happen is that the average dudes are going to see what's happening now. They're going to get so frustrated, they're going to get regressive. It's going to happen. You can't just leave millions of guys like that and think it's just going to sit there, okay? It's not just going to be cool, okay? It's like what you'll see in third world countries where America will go in and kind of make a bad deal for them and eventually they start doing crazy shit. And you think you can just ignore it and just leave it over there festering? You leave shit festering and you don't address large groups of people that are suffering, bad stuff happens. I don't want to see that. So I think that the answer is not to regress. I don't think that we need to have girls have to go back to dating chumps that are fucking morons and can't even, know how to talk to them without being weird. I'm not saying it has to be that. Why don't we just teach this stuff in grade school? Here's how you say hi. Here's social calibration. Here's how they think. Why? And by the way, where's Harvard on this? Where's Stanford on this? Where's Yale on this? Where's Oxford on this? How come it's got to be me? I don't want to do this. I don't.
That's a good question.
Right now, Oxford gets involved, Harvard gets involved, real institution gets involved, real institutional change. I'm out. I've got so much other stuff I want to teach. So much other stuff I want to focus on. But unfortunately, there's not a lot of people that did the real experiments because it's controversial. It's because it breaks a lot of sacred cows. So it's like they think that in the past that people would be called a heretic if they had different beliefs and people would persecute them and they think that's done now. Not true. In the realm of history, I won't be proven right about everything. All have made mistakes because every human is prone to mistakes and all made mistakes. But when you've tried as hard as me, my ratio of accuracy to mistakes will be so much higher than the average person's because I put so much of my life into this. And it's going to be one of those things where they're like, wow, he got in trouble for saying that? But where's the institutions on this teaching this stuff? And the problem is, if you want to not go regressive, it's not about beating everybody down, shaming them, muzzling them, and all that kind of stuff. It's about hearing them out, and figuring out what the heck's going on, and then providing tools. So that's a lot of what we're trying to show you here, is we're trying to provide tools to you that may not seem obvious on the surface, but once you see them, you're like, wait, this is not hard. It's really not. This stuff's really not hard. Like, you can absolutely radically change your life if you put your mind to it. Last thing I'll say on it is this. My version of codependence, I want to build, but I'm going to say something cool that you'll like, but then I'm going to show you why you shouldn't wait. I want to build some kind of a human awakening project because I am so damn good at building leaders that I built so many leaders out, and it's their work, but we do it collaboratively. The person's got to have the hustle, the drive, the heart, and I'll give them the tools. But the thing is, I built out so many leaders. I think what we got to do is look at the function that church had in the past and bring in a lot of biblical teachings, but also bring in a lot of practical teachings and show people this stuff. Because if you guys look at it, as great as it is to watch me on a video, what is it like just to be in an environment like this, and how much higher of a paradigm and vibe you're thinking of just being in an environment like this? Imagine if I did this for free every Sunday.
Yes.
Everybody in here be Christian. Thank you. I appreciate it, man.
Yeah.
Well, let me say this. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Well, here's the thing. I do, but I just do it in different cities. So the thing is this, but here's what you'll notice about me. I have been able to build out instructors successfully, so many other big influencers successfully. Tomorrow, you'll see me bring up a couple people doing public speaking. You'll see how fast they transform. So I know how to do it. Like the cool thing with me is I'm really good at self-replicating. That's the highest level of leadership. It's not just like, you're the one that everyone needs. Everyone needs you. Like my best trainings, okay, when I do trainings, my best ones, like my high ticket trainings, I will know the training is working when by day 3 I get there and my students are ignoring me. This is real, by the way. This is real. Yeah, I get in there, I'm like, hey everyone, like I'm here, right? And they're like, oh, Owen, what's up? And then they go right back to their group. And that's because I train people not to need me. So I get them in a flow where they're helping each other, right? So you could do that where you had that in every city. And I think honestly, that has to happen because you can't deplatform it. It's not like just an AI thing, it's real life. AI is coming and humans are gonna have to honestly figure out like who they even are. Because unfortunately, we're about to give up our humanity potentially before we even figured out what our humanity is. So it's super crazy. And our humanity is a lot more than we realize. So that being the case, I think that's got to happen. I'm going to try to build that. We'll see how I get. Maybe I don't build it. Maybe my kids do. Maybe other people do. Just by me floating the idea, other people build on that. Problem is that church didn't make an effort to stay relevant. And then they've now sheltered themselves with a poster like, well, only someone that God calls upon, they'll see it. And then they sit there with like a fucking poster and they're like, you're going to hell. You're going to hell. And then people just walk by and they're like, well, yeah, God didn't choose them. That's called narcissism, okay? That's called fucking narcissism. You made no effort to explain. You made no effort to fucking connect. You alienated people, okay? God is not about alienating people, making no ability to connect, all that. I don't believe that for a fucking minute. So I get it that some people have the eyes to see, the ears to hear. I get that. But sometimes you just didn't explain yourself, okay? You just didn't explain yourself. So we have to look at that and have an honest conversation about that too. So there has to be a degree of relevance, and sometimes we're so stuck in a certain paradigm that we can't see outside of it. Now, the answer to that is what? So like everybody now has good values and everybody's let in, and there's not like a set of values or standards. We just let down all our standards, everyone's invited. No, it's not about that. Real growth is about looking at what got us here, finding out the vital core of what was most valuable, but then iteration and adaptation to modern society. I'm not even saying it would have to be a church, but there's many different ways you could conceive of a church, right? Like, why is it just one way? Why does it tend to attract one type of person? Maybe not one type, but you know my point, right? Like, it's a certain type that it tends to attract. And it's, take an example like in a lot of Christian conservatives, they get really hung up on not swearing, right? Okay, great. I think that's great. Don't swear. That's super cool, right? You make a choice. I'm not going to swear to hold yourself to a higher standard. I think that's badass. Have you guys ever read Leviticus? Okay, like the same people that get hung up on you said the word poopy, okay, and freak out over it. When's the last time they sacrificed a bull? Okay? Did they sacrifice a bull? Did they, okay? Like there's so much stuff in there they're not doing.
Sorry, I'm very ignorant. I don't know. What is this?
Guys, if I go right now and I pull up like the book of Leviticus, like online, like it's like you can't say the word poopy because you're Christian, right? So they're hung up. Don't say the word fuck.
Come holy. The Lord also said to Moses, "This is the offering Aaron and his sons are to bring to the Lord on the day he is anointed. 1/10 of an ephah of the finest flour as a regular grain offering, half of it in the morning and half in the evening.
Didn't do that.
It must be prepared with oil on a griddle. Bring it well mixed and present the grain offering, broken in pieces.
Oh, and it gets way crazier than this.
Pleasing to the Lord. The son who is to succeed him as an anointed priest shall prepare it. It is the Lord's perpetual share and is to be burned completely."
I'll move forward. Watch. Bulls.
Moses also brought Aaron's sons forward and put some of the blood on the lobes of their right ears, on the thumbs of their right hands, and on the big toes of their right feet.
Blood.
Then he splashed blood against the sides of the altar. After that, he took the fat tail, all the fat around the internal organs, the long lobe of the liver, both kidneys and their fat, and the right thigh. And from the basket of bread made without yeast, which was before the Lord, he took one thick loaf with olive oil mixed in.
Here's what I'm thinking, okay? I'm thinking we either say fuck that to being paranoid about cursing, or we go right back to this and it'll be fucking hilarious. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's commit to a direction here, okay? We're either going forward or we go back. Like, I want to get out like the thing of fat and like burn it with all you guys. You know what I'm saying, right? Like, let's just go all the way back. You know, your wife has her period and like some crazy ritual of that. Like, why don't we just go all the way back? You know what I'm saying? Like, we all just like get together. We get like the fucking bull. The bull's like thrashing. We kill the fucking thing. Take the blood, cover it on each other, burn it and shit. Like, either we're doing that, or you can say the word poopy. Okay? You see what I'm getting at here, right? Like, pick it. Look, I'm probably misunderstanding this in some way. I'm not an expert. I'm not claiming to be, but I'm just getting the point that like, in some way, I almost feel like it's a loser's mentality when Christian people are like, "You better not say the word poopy." It's like, your entire religion is going down the tubes in front of you. The world is becoming a hell on earth. And as this happens, you're like, "Did you say the word poopy?" Like, wait, you had a hookup in college? Wah! Wah! Right? The world is going to hell in a handbasket. And rather than iterating and saying to yourself, well, what did the church bring? It's like, just, you know, I remember one of my ex-girlfriends, her dad's gay, and they're from Utah, okay, Salt Lake. And he got put in this thing called the North Star thing, okay? Now, a lot of guys will hear about a dude who's gay, and most dudes, because they don't like the image of like gay sex, they'll be like, "I don't want guys to be gay. I hate that shit." Look, I understand, okay? You gotta be torn, doesn't mean you gotta like it, okay? Doesn't mean you gotta be turned on by it. But you gotta be torn, right? But the point is like, by the way, you wanna have access to great women? Make friends with the gays, okay? They hold the keys. They hold the keys. So, and the best party. So the thing is this, right? Fashion, they got on lock, bro. So what I'm getting at is this, okay? So, this guy, he literally brainwashed himself at this North Star program to like women. And, you know, on the surface when you hear that, right? You're like, I know how most guys think. It's like, yeah, he should do that. Like, none of like gay shit. Like, I understand how guys like feel that way. It's normal to feel that way, right? But the thing is, like, didn't you meet this guy and you get to know him as a person? And he's a great fucking guy. Like the salt of the earth, this man. He's a really great guy, right? And the guy just wants some dick. You know, and you meet him and he's like, and literally you just see him, he's like, yeah, he's like, this is real, by the way. The police officer pulled me over and I think he was gay and I was really like, but I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna get the dick. He's like, I'm just gonna fuck my wife. You know, right? And at a certain point, you're like, bro, just get some dick, okay? You're not going to hell, okay? You know what I'm saying? But so do you see how it's like, rather than like focusing on where we gotta be focused on, like the world's falling apart, it's like, hey, Justin, do you want some dick? You're gonna go to hell. Go to the North Star program. Did you fucking swear? Hey, did you hook up with someone in college? You're going to hell. Hey, I think I heard you swear. You want some dick, Justin? Right? And it's like, where's this going? You guys see what I'm saying here? Like, is this where, thank you, I appreciate it. Like, this is, and it's like these, and so they pick and choose, here's what I'm getting at. So they pick and choose, you know, whatever random quote in the Bible, and then but where's the blood sacrifice? Come on, bro. If Justin can't get some dick, then we're sacrificing the bull, okay? Like, if you're gonna tell Justin he can't have some dick, then get me the bull, get me the fucking knife, we're sacrificing this thing, and we're bathing in blood, and while we bathe in blood, we're like, Justin, isn't this better than getting dick? And you know what, it might be. And he'd be like, and Justin would be like, yeah, he'd be like, the blood. He was like, I don't need the dick, I got the blood, right? Oh, yeah. I'd be like, yeah, bro. To be fair, he did get kids out of it. He's got great kids. I dated his daughter. She's a great girl. So, you know, so there was some positives that came out of it. But all I'm saying is it's like, why are we focusing on like some dude just wants some dick, some guy wants to swear, and some guy like lost his virginity in college out of wedlock, and it's like, and meanwhile, the world is falling apart. The world is falling apart. So, in my view, it's what happens is you get so used to losing, you lose and lose and lose. You make an identity out of it. You just accept it's all going to shit. It'll never be good. Demoralized, but we're the chosen ones. We have the ears to hear. We have the eyes to see. Look, there is a reality to that. It's real. But sometimes you just learn to explain yourself to. You know, sometimes you learn to explain yourself. And sometimes the people who study the Bible look so fucking weird that they are part of why nobody wants to look at it. Like, I don't want to be like this guy. I'm going to be this guy in the fucking street corner. I don't want to be the guy telling Justin he can't get some dick. I swear sometimes I'm not going to hell. Right? So, people get so used to fucking losing becomes so acclimated. I think what's going to have to happen is you're going to have to see people get together in real life, and people have to support each other. And the thing is, too, here's another component of this. In capitalism, we compete with each other. So it's like, well, I don't want to help my bros. You know, I want to compete. It's really kind of on them. Here's what you don't understand. Here's your choices. You can either go in a like mark of the beast system, social credit score system like in China, where there's a dictator, which maybe you had a great dictator and you lucked out. Hey, lucked out, got a great dictator this time. So maybe it's a little more efficient. You don't argue over a border fence for fucking 2 years, right? But so it's efficient if the guy was super smart. But the problem is that you don't know who you're gonna get. Maybe you're gonna get King John, whatever the fuck, right? You guys seen that shit in like North Korea? You might get that guy, okay? You don't know who you're gonna get. You're fucked. So basically, if you want to have democracy, that also means that the chodes get to vote. And so if you're thinking like, hey, you know, we have freedom here, we have democracy, but guess what? They're going to outvote freedom. They're going to lock you down. They're going to go, we're locking you down. You're going on fucking house arrest. Oh, what, you're out surfing? No, we're going to arrest you. We're going to arrest you because you're windsurfing. You could have been, you might kill grandma if you're out windsurfing by yourself. If you're out walking your dog in the forest, jail. But yeah, you could go to a restaurant and then like wear the mask in the restaurant to this table, then take off the mask. These people have never apologized. They never own their mistakes. They got a bad thing coming to them because they made bad choices. So it'll come later. So the point that I'm saying is this. If the average common denominator goes to shit, you can't even wear a watch to walk. You can't wear a watch downtown. You can't even wear a watch. You don't have freedom. You can't even wear a watch. You can't even wear a fucking watch. You go to Dubai, you can wear a watch. Dubai has, what is it, a king? Is it a king? Saudi Arabia? Monarchy, prince, whatever it is. I should learn more. I've seen him in interviews. Now they like him and he apparently does a good job. But you might get a bad king, right? You don't know. So that's what you're looking at. So if you allow your fellow man to go to shit, that's the environment you live in. You're the one rich guy living in a shithole. wow, cool, man. Like you want to be some dictator in like a war-torn African country? You're like, I am the dictator, right? Like you go outside, people's arms getting chopped off. What does it look like when you walk downtown now? It's fucking Resident Evil out there. It's fucking crazy. Where's the trajectory right now? And you know what that is? It's called demoralization. Regular, good-hearted people are so demoralized they think that there's nothing to be done about it. That's not true. That is part of the, it's like this. You talk to women these days, they don't want kids. They go, in a world like this, I couldn't raise children. It would be irresponsible. They say that. What have they been, think about it this way, okay? Every single ancestor you had reproduced. From a fucking amoeba to a weird fucking tadpole to a monkey to endless iterations of cave people to you. And you didn't reproduce. That is the greatest failure one can have. Every generation prior to you reproduce, and you didn't. Yeah, but the world has too many people, blah, blah. Cool, then have one kid. But you couldn't reproduce, huh? If you're a good person, you should want better people in the world that have good values. So what happens is the women are often very demoralized, and they're demoralized by the men. They're very much demoralized by the men. And frankly, a lot of the reason they're demoralized is just the stuff that me and Sid are talking about here. Just lack of vision. And then, you know, we talk about modern women, how they're like, you know, narcissistic, out of control. Guys, here's what you're not getting. The women are just a mirror of the men, right? So if you have a relationship, you start acting like a beta male, your woman becomes unruly, narcissistic, difficult, frustrating because you're being a beta male. So if men collectively become beta males and allow frame to be run on them, what, because of like the media? What, because of Harvard? And you just let that happen? You kind of brought it on yourself. You see where I'm going with this? No guy can be mad when a girl starts shit testing and becomes unruly and leaves, because that's biology, right? It's like, it means you got dominated. If you get dominated, then your woman will become oftentimes unruly, difficult, frustrating, crazy, narcissistic, say a bunch of crazy shit, delusional, because that's her way of getting away from you because you're weak. So if there's a society-wide version of that, if that's the case, well then where's your responsibility for it? Have you added to that or taken away from that? What have you brought to the table? So guys are like, oh, I can't get a girlfriend now. What's that say about you? You couldn't get one girl? Yikes. Not one? You couldn't make 1 million? Not even one? With all this money everywhere? The reality is, it is easier than ever for a guy to meet a girl, because you're in fourth wave feminism where they high five each other for getting some dick. So back in the day, to get a girl, you had to like get the flowers, you convince her dad, okay? Marry her. Now, she high fives her friends for getting dick down. So it's easier than ever to meet somebody. But the conditioning is so brainwashing and toxic that it's turned you into a fool. So even though it's easier than ever, you've been beaten into submission where it's actually too hard. So like, this is how hard it was, and then you were here. This is now how hard it is, but you're here. People have been brainwashed into being mindless consumer zombies. We're probably not even going to have a true hardcore recession anytime soon, because consumer spending won't go down even in a depression. People just go spend. Back in the day, if there was a recession, people stopped spending. That doesn't happen now. We'd eventually get there, but it's like we had a couple ones that look like doozies. They're like, actually, it seems okay, right? Because people spend. People have been beaten psychologically into being mindless consumer drones. Back in the day, to make money, people were going more for commodities that they need. They weren't going to buy 30 pairs of shoes. They had one. You had to have a warehouse to house your shit. You had to make it work in your small town. Now you have the internet where you could have 3 people in each town that like it. You can make money just by talking into your fucking cell phone. It's a joke. And legions of Resident Evil zombie consumers. This was how hard it was to make money, but maybe you were here. Now this is how hard it is to make money, but you're here. The things that so it's easier than ever, but the conditioning that you're under has turned you so low functioning that it's harder. If you just get on the other side of that conditioning, it's easier. So for me and my friends, we kind of just like have this weird pity, like, why don't they just want to make money? Like, why don't they just want to go talk to a girl? Like, why are they being weird? But they don't resonate, right? People don't resonate. They're stuck in the slave mentality, slave conditioning. So slavery can happen in many ways. It can be violent and horrific, or they can just get control of your brain. They don't got to shackle you, bro. They don't need to do a hot war anymore. They could just have the country hate itself. They can just make the country hate itself. They can make the country hate itself. They can get it to where the women view the guys as fucking clowns. They can turn the guys into clowns. Back in the day, World War II happened, guys were lining up to go fight Hitler. Right now, if China came in, boots on the ground in California, how many of you guys would go fight him? You're completely demoralized. And the thing is, you put your head up now, then you'd be like, you would walk down into LA, just look at the fucking madness that it is. You're like, I'm not gonna die for these guys. These guys are just running away. I thought we're all in this together. But they all hate the country, most of them, so they're not all in it with you. So you'd just be you fighting for everybody else. So, what's that?
Some good Marines.
Definitely are. But when you're about to get fucking shot and your kids are gonna have no dad, and you're going down West Hollywood and you're looking at a bunch of fucking idiots, you're like, you know what? I'll get out my Mandarin textbook. I'm okay. So, right? So, right? At least they got some pride. At least they got some fucking pride in their country, right? At least they're in it. Here, repeat this after me. Psychology of ascension. Say that. Yeah, that's my mind. I'm in a fucking psychology of ascension. I'm not demoralized. Okay, I wouldn't be out here if I was demoralized. I am not demoralized. I believe, baby. Okay, believe. I believe. Like, that's me. I believe. Right? I do. I always thought it would be cool. Like, you ever watch the Lakers? You guys know Lakers, right? This is Denver. You guys probably don't like Lakers. But that's okay. But like, you guys know Austin Reeves, right? He had this one thing where he goes, I'm him. You guys ever see that? He's like, I'm him. He's not famous for that because he's this guy who's like, no, he's like this little white boy. He's like not that skilled. Well, he is skilled, but not like as skilled as he could be, right? But he's like, he has belief, right? And so he's like shoots baskets. He's like, I'm him. And like everybody loves that. So I became a fan of Austin Reeves because he has belief. Wouldn't it be amazing if he would just like become more of a cheerleader? Like say he was in the NBA game, even though he's playing with LeBron and Luka Doncic and guys better than him. But imagine if he would just like be in in the stadium in LA, and he would just be like, go to the crowd, be like, believe, I believe, and the whole crowd's like, believe, right? What would that do to Lakers if he did that? Right? He'd be known for that because that'd be kind of his thing, right? That'd be his like his forte, his like calling card. Believe, I believe. And they're going to win more games if they do that, right? You got to believe, baby. You're down by 40, believe. I believe. Right? You got to believe. But what happens is that we resonate off the people around us and we stop believing, okay? So when I learned the different things that I shared with you here, that was because I believed, So I took my mystery boot camp, or I, made friends with Will and would try to get him to come out, and I'd drive, and I kept going out, and I traveled the country, and I built a business, and I learned all about internet marketing and studied and built Blueprint and Hot Seat and Blueprint Reloaded and did free tours all the country and put out videos and have these ideas. It's because I believe, okay? I believe. I just do. I really do. And you know why I believe? Here's why. Because the truth is, people have a lot more agency than they realize. It seems like it's crazy. Honestly, society's just hypnotized as fuck by a bunch of fucking sick fucking demons. Fuck those demons, okay? And that's what you'll realize. They're not as powerful as they seem. Even if they got to me, they can't get to society as a whole if someone still believes. If there's just one last person that still believes, they can't win. They can't. Even if they get to you. Because you live on through that belief that you shared. So they could get you, but they can't stop the information that you put out, right? We live on through ideas. Our body's very fragile, but our ideas spread. So that's the thing, is that if there's one person that believes, there's still hope. And what it really is, like, if you see how just in an environment like this, we can froth up some belief. Well, that is just, if you separate everybody from each other and they're watching television and mainstream media and all this fucking bullshit, and, they're hearing all these fucking lies and getting scared, and then, the Chinese Communist Party, like in 2020, they have videos of them like in a hazmat suit spraying down the area and people randomly keeling over and dying from COVID, like, stuff like that, and it's just, death counts going up, and, get rid of all the cool influencers that were actually helping guys and girls to meet each other, and then just leave on all the negative ones, which they've done. And so on and so forth, because I was one of them, and so on and so forth. If that's all that you do, then yeah, people are going to get fucking pissed off, and people will stop believing. I think that guys and girls could get back to marriage. I think that could happen again, and that monogamy actually is better for the kids because it lowers STDs, and it means the kids has two parents. Think about the advantage that my kids have just by me being so involved in their lives. And it's insane when the parents get along, and the parents can make like a perfect household for the kids. And I just lucked out with my kids are just great to me. So the thing is this, most understanding ever. So the thing that you understand is this, it's like you can get it, like you can bring that back. That can come back. It really can. But there has to be a shift culturally and in people's belief in themselves is really what it has to come down to, right? And they have to be taught tools and so on and so forth. The way I would envision something like that happening wouldn't be me running it. I can't be the figurehead because I've said too much crazy shit, so I'm not built to be a figurehead. I've just said too much crazy shit. I joke, right? I like to joke. I'm not like a politician with the politician's filter. I like to clown. I like to touch on things that are edgy, but, just speak from authenticity. So I'm not trying to be a leader, but what I've learned is I don't have to be a leader. I have helped so many people and just give them a direction, give them some tools, and watch them completely and utterly blossom. And other people can build it. It doesn't have to be me who has to do everything, right? Like when you're building a business, like part of why I can take 10 months off work if I want is because I built systems. It's not meant to be just me. I should have it where, Zach can come in here, Sid can come in here, they can crush it, I can crush it, you guys can crush it. Everybody can crush it. People can do, honestly, amazing things. It's really true. But in an environment of paranoia, negativity, separateness, animosity, guys hating girls, girls hating guys, splitting people along lines of color, gender, fucking ethnic background, sexuality, so on and so forth, making it almost like a fucking prison where people are just fucking pissed and people are fucking paranoid and angry and not realizing how fucking awesome America is, then what happens, I'm saying this to Canadian guys, but when they don't see that, and then what happens, everything falls apart. And the thing is that we all have grievance, everybody does, but if people don't say, well, you know what? We got to move forward. Then what's going to happen, right? And you can get stuck in grievance forever, and then people can pit people against each other and get mad at each other and have grievance and fucking pissed and so on and so forth. Or you can say, fuck that. I don't want to speak Mandarin, okay? Or if you want to speak Mandarin, it's because you want to go on vacation. You know what I'm saying, right? It says you want to go on vacation, not because you want to have a social credit score. So, okay, and I love Chinese people, by the way, but I don't think you guys want to be under communism, right? No. Yeah, it's probably Denver's one of you guys does. What do you guys like? Yes, my Lord and Savior Xi Jinping, save me, right? But a lot of you guys, do you believe in your own autonomy? Yes. Do you believe in your own autonomy? Yes. Do you believe you could do things? You believe you could solve your problems? Yes. Do you believe in your agency? Yes. Do you believe in your creativity? Yes. Do you believe that you're at the cause, not the effect? Yes. Then fuck yeah, you could do amazing things. Yes, comrade. Right? Yeah, exactly, right? Do you believe we should make the factory and the two left boots and where we all wear two left boots, right? So, so the thing is, like, people have the capacity to have agency. People have the capacity to get along. People have the capacity to love each other. Like, that capacity is there, but it comes down to the social conditioning. It really does. There's cultures in the world where people are violent beyond things I wouldn't want to say here, where part of that culture is so violent. It's so disgusting things that happen in some of these cultures. And there's cultures where there's no violence, no crime at all. It's just a lot of the frames that are getting set, right? But as men, you do have a role to be a leader, and I think women have their own leadership as well. But the point I'm getting at is that you got to be a leader. You have to believe in yourself. You have to find the resources, find the mentors, find the peer groups, find people that you aspire to be like, find people that you want to help. And in doing that, this is not a like anything's possible like from just a morale speech. This is real. This is fucking real. And for me, I would say this. My greatest pride is over the years, I have been able to help people to actually land the plane. My thing is, it's not just about riling people up about hopes and dreams. It's about, oh wait, how many of my ex-clients are millionaires? How many of my ex-clients have amazing social lives? How many of my clients have families and kids? How many of my clients and people that work with me did get married and it was to a good fucking girl and they actually have a stable relationship? How many of them have traveled the world? How many of them have made social impact? How many of them have changed the world? And I just see that that's the world that I live in. And I understand that it's just about the right education, the right environment, the right mentors, but also having the right mentors. But in addition to having the right mentors, also having the right peer group and having the people that you're helping. That's why when I train people, I always say I can get you from here to here as a student, and then I get people to start leading. When you look at Zach today, you look at Sid today, would they have been better to just take course after course after course, or take some courses and then participate as a leader and volunteer their time? I mean, they're going to learn so much more by leading, right? So, but being a leader is not just about being narcissistic. Like, I love myself, I'm a leader now. It's about actually learning, picking up information, getting good, having competency, having some expertise, and then you take it to the next level by helping other people. So in a weird way, who am I help? Even though I'm trying to help all you guys, I'm giving you everything I got. Like, this is all I got, guys, okay? Okay, I got this, I got a little purple drink. So I'm giving you all I got, but at the same time, who's learning the most here? You. So that's the other thing I'm getting, right? Is that when you take a leadership role, that's also how you hit other levels. And people don't realize that. You can read books by John Maxwell, 5 Levels of Leadership, but human beings are not just meant to be takers and just take a bunch of shit. We're meant to be leaders. So part of being a leader is learning how to meet people, how to network, how to control your inner state, how to control your communication, how to have proper tools like social media and others, how to build events, how to be a leader of events. And yeah, your dating life will be off the charts when you have that. It'll be ridiculous because you're a leader. And none of it's that hard, but you've got to believe. So that's why I say believe. I believe. I believe. Okay? People that clip this will just think I'm like serious, like trying to be like a Baptist preacher, right? I'm half joking, but I'm also half serious. So maybe they're right. Okay? I believe. Believe. I believe. Okay? Do you guys see why I don't get demoralized? Because I'm in these rooms and I see that you can froth up belief and morale quick. You see that? But at the end of the day, are you the one getting butt fucked by the system, right? The system just fucking shoving its dick in your ass, right? And not in a way like my ex-girlfriend's dad, where it would be a good thing. But but for most of y'all, it's not like necessarily your cup of tea, right? So it's something where you've got to really genuinely believe, and you can froth up that belief, and then what happens is that you have to represent the change that you want to see in the world, right? So as you wake up and you stop this pattern of being a taker, but rather you know how to receive, and then you take that and like drink a little drink and it gives you 10 times more energy, you know how to give, you're now beginning to reverse that cycle. In the process, you'll probably become a little famous. You'll have your dating life, sex life be bonkers, meet a great partner, have great kids, you'll travel, you'll be in nature, you'll have money, you'll get the best foods, you'll be able to put your kids in the best schools, you'll wind up having a fun life, you'll have great friends, you go to the best parties, you do the best shit, you'll have the best watch, whatever, right? That'll all be great. That's all fun to have. It's all really fucking cool, but you'll also be able to look at yourself in the mirror. Okay, you won't be one of these dumb fucks like the modern women, and I can't even get one girl, and it's too hard, and I'm fucking broke, and I want to be a communist, and I just want to take, and blah blah. You won't have to be that guy. That's the hell on earth. Hell on earth doesn't just start after you die. Hell on earth starts now, right? You can have heaven on earth now too. So, right, and that's a much deeper topic. But the point being is this: there's incredible potential. Believe in your own potential. You got to believe. Say believe. 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 Say I believe. I believe. Okay, you can. You really can believe in yourself, and you can believe in your potential. Okay, so I'm gonna do a couple more exercises with you guys, but that's my free Joseph rant for today. Thanks. Thank you guys.